So we have to make sure we match that intensity.
The Colts are on the road to face the Houston Texans. I'm Kirk Darling for 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Welcome to Wawa. We're open 24/7, so when the sun goes down but everyone's still up, Wawa has your late night fuel. Headed to a hangout? Stop in for snacks and sodas. Binge your favorite shows with burgers and hoagies. Gather around the table with garlic knots and a cheesy Wawa pizza. Or just chill on the couch with fries and whatever milkshake sounds good. Your night just got a whole lot tastier. Freshly made burgers, pizza, and so much more. When you got a late night craving, you got a Wawa. Price and participation may vary by store.
Even a short drive can take a wrong turn. Accidents happen. When it happens, hire Hensley. Call Hensley Legal Group at 888-HENSLEY or visit hirehensley.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Jake Query here. Each weekday noon to 3, guests appear live on the Java House Peel and Pour guest line. Use code JAKE25 at javahouse.com to save 25% on your first order.
Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
With Wawa's Rewards program, you can rack up points on the items you buy every day, even fuel. Boost your totals with a breakfast sizzly. Score points with your morning coffee. With Wawa Rewards, points put the power in your hands. You can choose to redeem them for what you love most, like an iced latte for an extra pick-me-up or your lunchtime hoagie. Download the Wawa app today. When you gotta get rewarded, you gotta Wawa. Fuel rewards not available in New Jersey or were legally prohibited. See full details at wawarewards.com. Price and participation may vary by store.
From the DriveHubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
This is The Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
You keep setting a new standard for the greatest moment in Indiana history. First, it was winning a game like Oregon on the road. Then it was beating Ohio State for the Big Ten championship. Now it's winning the Rose Bowl. How would you describe the turnaround and what you've been able to build in a short period of time?
A hell of a movie.
3rd down and 8. Kalon Black is back in the lineup. Here's the snap back to Fernando. Has time, rolling over the middle. He's got Becker. Oh, what a catch! Charlie Becker! Touchdown, Indiana! Tremendous throw by Fernando Mendoza, but what a catch by Becker. Here's the snap. Fakes the handoff. Looks to throw it. Does throw the end zone. Touchdown! Hemby in the backfield now with Fernando Mendoza. Takes the snap. Fernando looks left, fires it down the field. He's got Surratt. Touchdown! What a perfect throw by Fernando. 24 yards, and Indiana scores again. And Fernando puts the man behind him. That is Black. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to Kalon. Fights his way through it, and he breaks the tackle. Down to the 5. Oh, what a run! Touchdown! What a program. What a turnaround for Indiana football. Final score, Indiana 38, Alabama 3.
But I only have one thing to say.
Who's your daddy is what I'm talking about. The SEC can take it all the way back down south and go think about it all off season. Good morning, everyone. Kevin Bowen off today. Much deserved day off before he finishes the Colts season on Sunday. James Boyd, though, powering through. Good to see that you're healthy and no problems. Got through New Year's Eve okay. I always worry about the young single guys on New Year's Eve, but you did okay.
Yeah, I'm hungover still, but life is good.
Well, I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be talking about the Hoosiers. And I tweeted it out yesterday. I think I picked them to win by 10 the other day. If you've been watching college football all year long, you just took the brand names off the helmets and the jerseys. Indiana has been maybe the best all-around team. Offense, defense, the way that they play physically, the way that they manhandle people on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And you've got terrific position players, skill players like Cooper and Surratt and Black and Hemby and Charlie Becker that could play for any team in the country, and now a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. And you saw Alabama, the way they played the last couple of weeks. truly, who in your right mind that really watches college football thought to themselves, yeah, but Indiana's still just a fairy tale. This is Alabama. This is playoff time. Who truly thought that was going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey so far. And really, to kind of look at yesterday's game, it started off kind of ominous. You know, you go 3 and out. I believe Fernando Mendoza might have been sacked twice on the first drive of the game, and you're thinking, boy, is this long layoff going to get you like it has for other teams? I believe IU was the first team since they moved to this format that actually won after getting the bye.
That is correct.
So that was a bit, nerve-wracking to start the game. I was like, boy, if you allow Alabama to get some momentum, get up early, this could change this game very quickly. But then you saw them slowly break them down, so they just broke it open. And then as we saw throughout that great intro by Caleb, credit there to him, you just hear how they just continue to hammer them over and over again to the point where you start getting into the weeds of the record book when it comes to IU and victories like this. And again, it was a joke when I was in school, when you were a Big Ten's program and you won a couple games, I'll bring on Alabama. And now you bring on Alabama and you run straight through them.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I'll even go one step further. I was like you. I was like, okay, a little rusty from the layoff. That was not an impressive first 3 plays. Hopefully they get that out of that system and start to settle down a little bit. And then as the first quarter went on, they got that 3-0 lead. When Alabama went for it on 4th down, deep in their own territory, in the first quarter and didn't get it, and the way that they didn't get it, and the play call and everything else, I thought, Alabama's not feeling all that great about themselves either right now. They just made what I think will ultimately be a fatal mistake. I won't go so far as to say I knew the game was over at that point in time, but that's the moment when I thought Indiana's got control of this football game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you look at just the ways in which they won. You had Fernando Mendoza, obviously, with some great passes, I thought, throughout that game. The one he threw to Elijah Sherrod was on a rope. That was as good as it gets. Charlie Becker made a great catch over the middle.
Went up and got that thing, didn't he?
He went up and made his quarterback look pretty good on that play. And then, as I was going through the game, and I think they said on the broadcast too, Jeff, we were like, oh, man, Omar Cooper Jr. has been kind of quiet, and then there he is catching a touchdown pass to give him a bigger lead. So a very balanced offensive attack. I thought in the trenches where they really won it as well. I mean, anytime you can run for 215 yards, you usually win that game. And then you look at the flip side, as you and Kevin pointed out the last couple of days here on the show, Alabama can't run the football. So they finished the game with 23 rushing yards. Could you imagine an Alabama team coached by Nick Saban finishing with 23 rushing yards in any game anywhere?
No.
And so, again, 23 rushing yards that they had. You had 215, 99 by Kaylon Black. Roman Hemby got in the end zone as well with 89 rushing yards. So just an overall dominant performance that reinforces why IU is the number 1 team in the country and still the last, I believe, unbeaten team in this country.
Yeah. Hey, and I don't know, Caleb, throughout the day, if we can find even more post-game stuff from Fernando Mendoza, he is one of a kind when he is addressing the media after a victory. I could listen to him talk all day long. He's just fun to listen to.
Look, when he said it was going to be a hell of a movie, I mean, yeah.
Signetti said that. I'm talking about Mendoza, just the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
he pumps up his teammates. He gives everybody else credit. He talks about, I mean, it's a recruiting poster when he goes on to talk.
I'm sorry I misspoke there. But, yeah, when I saw his reaction to him not winning offensive MVP and that going to his offensive lineman, his center, I thought that was a really cool moment there. And I thought also on the ESPN broadcast, it kind of psyched us out with how that went, because all of us were kind of expecting that to go to Fernando Mendoza. I mean, and it would have been a great choice had it gone to him, but that was really cool to have Pat Coogan stand up there and as an offensive lineman win the Rose Bowl MVP. And, I mean, at that point, though, if you just look at the raw stats, Jeff, you could pretty much pick anybody on the roster and it made him MVP when it comes to the offensive side of things and defense too. I thought that they were really setting the tone just physically from a physicality standpoint. When they smacked the Alabama quarterback Simpson after he got the first down and he fumbles, I mean, those are the types of plays
Pons
where –
got him, didn't he?
Yeah, Pons got him good. And then honestly, when they bring Pons on the stage after the game, I'm like, this guy doesn't look like he's all that big, but boy, he's a heat-seeking missile. And again, this team is all business, all class as well. I mean, it wasn't like they did anything that was malicious or dirty, or I can go back and say, oh, you shouldn't have did that. No, they just beat you between the lines and beat you pretty good.
They do, and they've done that all season long. Like, You take a look at the win that they had in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State. You take a look at the way that they controlled especially the last 15, 16 minutes of the game against Oregon, the way they controlled the fourth quarter against Penn State. Everybody looks at the great passes and the great catches and then, the big catch in the back of the end zone. I get all that. But up front, offense and defense along those lines, they have, for the most part, been physically dominant against every team they've played this year. This wasn't like they just had a great game against Alabama. It's a continuation of things they've been doing on the interior all season long. That's why I wasn't so surprised. And also, I saw all of the last 2 games of Alabama and bits and pieces of them here and there over the season. I saw them their last regular season game. I saw them the first round game of the playoffs, even though they beat Oklahoma. That offense didn't look like they were scaring anybody.
I wanted to jump in here, Jeff, too, because I think that attitude of physicality really spreads to the rest of the team, spreads to your skill guys, too. I mean, when you look at yesterday, obviously the weather, such a big question going in. Was it going to be raining? And the field was wet, and the grounds crew was pushing all that water to the sideline. And if you looked at it, like, Indiana's wide receivers were making plays on the sideline. Their DBs were making plays on the sideline, and they would splash in that mud. Their jerseys, despite wearing red, you could see the mud on them. Alabama's skill guys wearing all white, they were clean because they weren't getting dirty. No. They didn't have their hands in the dirt. And I think that's the biggest difference. That attitude just spreads. And I agree with James's point. Like, to see the reaction when the offensive line wins the MVP trophy and Mendoza rushes over, all these guys rush over. That is Indiana football in 2025, now 2026.
Yeah, it was fantastic. The first time, guys, since 1944 that an offensive lineman has won the MVP at the Rose Bowl. Since 1944. Everything Indiana does is like, yeah, here, hold my beer.
I was going to say, that's like when the world was a lot different back then.
It's got to be Signetti's dream. That might be just, there's national championship, and then second place might be my offensive line winning an MVP.
I took it upon myself last night to refresh my memory, and actually after the game, Google Curt Signetti. And I'm glad that I did.
Yeah.
Because when you want to talk about coaching record, everywhere, he talked about Google me, I win everywhere I go. Do you know what his overall record is? If you, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, Elon, James Madison, Indiana, do you know what his all-time coaching record is?
I would venture to say he doesn't have 30 losses.
Pretty close. 144-37.
Oof.
He's had 2 seasons along the way where his teams were like 1 game over 500, where it was probably a down year for him, replacing everybody, whatever. Since 2019, the year before COVID, his teams have only lost 3, 5, 8, 9, 11 games since 2019.
That's crazy.
He's only lost 11 games as a head coach in the last 6 seasons.
I think it's fair to start wondering, too, how did the rest of college football miss on this guy? I mean, he's how old? And this is, he just started really being a head coach, 10 years ago or whatever? Like, it's kind of crazy. And it's fell into Indiana's lap. They made the right hire. They've supported him. And it's just kind of this confluence of great things happening at once.
You talk about making the right hire, and we'll get to break in a second here. I was reading a lot of the post-game articles. There was one in the Indy Star focusing on the president making the hire of Curt Signetti. And she said, basically, we found a coach who sees hidden gems and sees things in guys that other people miss. This band of misfits, as they've labeled themselves, right? And rejects that nobody wanted. And during our interview with Curt Signetti, we saw a gem. We saw a guy who we think sees other things that people don't. And that's kind of how he got the job, too. And I love it, and I'm here for it. But I also hope that, because I have also broadcast at all levels during my career, whether it's been Division II programs or the Western Athletic Conference before doing some Big Ten stuff and things like that. So I've seen where there are at all levels, and you know this, James, There are great coaches, even at high school, at every level you can find, that could coach anywhere, anytime, any place. We just don't give him the credit because, well, he's never coached in the SEC or he's never coached in the Big Ten. But there are guys out there, if you want to go kick the rocks over and find them, that just know how to win football games.
I would agree, but I would also say Curt Signetti is probably one of one.
He is.
As my boy Kevin Bowen says, build thy statue.
Let's go. All right, that's a quick timeout for us. We got a lot to do today. As always, on a Friday, we'll talk to Greg Rakestraw. And I can't wait to talk to Rake today because is there a more, other than Don Fisher, is there a more all-Indian a guy that you would want to talk to about putting all this in perspective?
Let's get Buck back on the line, Caleb. Joe Buck might be the other one.
Yeah. Saw Joe Buck talking about them on social media all day yesterday, too. It was a lot of fun. Our good friend Trisha Whitaker was there with her dad and her brother. She was all over social media last night. Dream come true for that family. Dream come true for lots of people. If you're Purdue folks, hang in there. We only got a couple more weeks of this, and then we can start talking about a great basketball team. But we'll tell you all about it next as we continue at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries, and they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been your one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed or your money back. Only $59.99. Destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss at 5:30 p.m., stop smoking at 8. And January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking at 2. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. 0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Happy Friday. These are the kind of work weeks I like. Take a day or two off in the middle of the week, come back on Friday, get ready for a weekend, and we've got a lot of time to celebrate what Indiana did at the Rose Bowl yesterday. James Boyd, I'll say it again out loud because it still sounds crazy every time it comes out of my mouth. Indiana 38, Alabama 3, in a game that might not be as close as the score would indicate. I mean, it was all Indiana all day long.
All I can say is when my Illinois played them, they actually tied the game at one point. Alabama was never in it. 38-3 is crazy. What a beatdown.
It's a quarterfinal playoff game at the Rose Bowl, New Year's Day. The world watching. Fernando Mendoza, 14 of 16, 192 yards. But think about this. He had more touchdowns than incompletions yesterday.
Nice day at the office, right?
Not a bad day at the office. They didn't need him to throw more than 16 times because they were running the ball up and down the field all over the place on Alabama, imposing their will. Kalon Black had 99 yards rushing and a touchdown. Receiving, Charlie Becker had 2 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. Omar Cooper, 3 catches, 45 yards and a touchdown. Elijah Surratt had a touchdown on 4 catches for 40 yards. Everybody was getting into the act. In fact, I can't leave out Roman Himby, who had 18 carries for 89 yards and a touchdown yesterday. Think about that. All 5 of their biggest skill position players scored touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah, and their defense was humming. 6 tackles for loss, got after the quarterback, I thought a ton, made them uncomfortable, forced turnovers. And when you force turnovers and you're efficient on offense, beatdowns like that happen.
Yep, had a pick and a fumble recovery, held Alabama to 23 yards, rushing 193 yards of total offense, and they advance now to the semifinals of the college football playoffs. Also yesterday, Oregon, the 5 seed, beat beat Texas Tech 23-0. Ole Miss had a come-from-behind win over Georgia 39-34. Georgia and Alabama, neither will be amongst the 4 remaining teams in the college football playoff. Ole Miss is your SEC representative, and how about this? I'm learning this morning, James, that they may not even have all of their assistant coaches back for the next game because LSU and Lane Kiffin want to start hosting some recruits and potential transfers this coming week in Baton Rouge, and they might not let those guys coach this weekend. How about that?
That's wild. I did not know that, but honestly, everything's so weird in college football and college sports in general. But the game I'm looking forward to, obviously, for next week is the rematch. Indiana-Oregon next Friday night. That'll be something to tune in for, and I'm sure Dan Lanning and crew wants revenge, but IU certainly will not be satisfied.
Yeah, Thursday night, Miami will play Ole Miss in the Fiesta Bowl. That at 7:30, and then Friday, Oregon and Indiana at the Sugar Bowl, as you mentioned, at 7:30. Also, keep this in mind: Lane Kiffin, because of the terms of his contract and the way it went down, and what they agreed to on his way out, picked up. He'll get all remaining playoff bonuses. He picked up $500,000 with Ole Miss's win yesterday.
Smart businessman, crazy coach, but smart businessman.
I'll bet they can't wait to host him when LSU comes back to Ole Miss the next time they play. All right, so that's college football in a nutshell for you right now. Later on tonight, NBA back in center stage for us. The Pacers hosting the Spurs, coming off the narrow loss to the Orlando Magic. I really thought they might get that one done, James. I thought the losing streak would come to an end, but they lost the other night, 112-110. Orlando scored with 8 seconds to go to win that one by a pair, and that's 10 games in a row now for the Pacers. They will host the San Antonio Spurs tonight, but bit of a break. No Victor Wembanyama. He'll be held out because of what they're calling left knee soreness.
I don't think the Pacers have really gotten any breaks. Whoever they played, to Kevin's point from earlier in the week, they played teams without their best player this year and still gotten mopped up. And honestly, Jeff, when I look at them, I think of the quote, I believe it was from Mark Jackson, bad teams find a way to lose. That's what they are right now.
It's going to be a rough one, that's for sure. Tomorrow, college basketball. Butler will host Villanova. That one starts at noon. You can listen to it here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. You can watch it on TNT or True TV. And then later on in the evening, Purdue travels to Wisconsin. That'll be on Fox TV at 8 p.m. And if you're looking for college basketball tonight, just in honor of Kevin Bowen, I usually try to needle him and skip over it, but since he's not here, I will mention tonight that Notre Dame plays at Cal late, 11 p.m. on ESPN2.
Well, let's hope they have some offense that resembles something of the modern era, unlike their last victory.
It's probably like Kevin is not here. He's sleeping in so he can stay up late to watch that game tonight. That's probably why.
What it is.
I'll call him right now.
I'll let you know, though, as moving forward, when Kevin's in the studio, I will be skipping over Notre Dame basketball.
He'll remind you.
Just to get him going. So.
That's your call.
All right. NFL, Colts play at the Texans, 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Riley Leonard will be your starting quarterback. What else have we learned this week out at West 56th, James?
Well, it looks like Sauce Gardner perhaps is trending in the wrong direction as far as playing, which I always thought was a long shot from the start. He was a DNP yesterday, and then I believe when you look at the starting center, Tanner Bortolini, he's trending on the upside of things where he's made it through probably some good stages in the concussion protocol. So it looks like he might be starting come Sunday in Houston. But one of the weirder injury things on the report from the last couple of days is that Will Mallory has been listed with a lung injury. And that is concerning because if you think about lungs, it's like, well, what the heck happened? Did he get punctured? Is he in the hospital somewhere? Like, what's going on? So we'll hear from Shane Steichen later today about that. And obviously knowing what happened recently with TJ Watt in Pittsburgh, you definitely don't want to see the lung thing on an injury report.
No question about that. One of the interesting note in the National Football League, did you see the Dolphins have hired Troy Aikman on a part-time basis to advise them in their general manager search?
So I guess he would then have the same sort of stipulations that Tom Brady has because he does the broadcast stuff. So I'm sure there are some rules there that he has to abide by and follow, but it's a unique hire. I did not expect that at all. I mean, I never knew that was.
They said it's temporary, though. Once they get their general manager, he'll just kind of go back to.
I don't even see what's the point then. I mean, why would I help you get my general manager who's going to be here for a decade potentially, and you just leave? What if he's bad? I want to be able to fire you for making a bad hire.
Can you imagine if it doesn't work out every time he does a Dolphins
game? That's what I'm saying. You can't just help me pick it and leave.
He's making millions on the broadcast, and all these Dolphins fans are upset. That'd be crazy.
I also saw that Trayvon Diggs was picked up by the Green Bay Packers yesterday, claimed off waivers. How about that?
Yeah, we'll see if he's got anything left in the tank. He is not the player he once was.
Yeah, he had a bad knee injury 2 seasons ago, and he hasn't quite been the same since really promising early couple of years in his career. All right, that's what's happening in the world of sports right here, right now. Coming up in a moment, we'll talk more about Indiana's big beatdown of the Alabama Crimson Tide. 38-3 at the Rose Bowl yesterday. Also get you ready to go for the final game of the year with the Indianapolis Colts, and it sets up so many questions about what happens next. We'll talk about it all on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
It's a new season with a new QB.
Football is back.
And so are Bud Light Blue Fridays. Every week, join JMV starting at 3 for ice-cold Bud Light specials, football talk, and chances for you to snag tickets to Colts games and get some amazing swag on us. And get in on the football toss for a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas for your shot at Super Bowl tickets. This afternoon, join JMV at Ralston's Draft House on Mass Ave. Bud Light Blue Fridays.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey everyone, it's Jake from Payless Liquors. Charlie said sell it, so stop by one of our 26 family-owned locations and stock up with these great deals. Jack Daniel's half gallons for $39.99, Captain Morgan half gallons for $24.99, Mich Ultra 18 packs for $23.99, and La Marca Prosecco for $15.99. Get Corbel Brut for just $11.99, Martini and Rossi for just $10.99, Stella Rosa 6 packs for $4.99, and Jim Beam and Cola 4 packs for just $2.99. Why pay more when you can pay less here at Payless Liquors?
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can easily find the right home insurance for you, even if it's not with Progressive. But if you don't choose us, then sure, okay, it's not going to work out. We're not going to cry about it or stay awake wondering what our future together would have looked like. We can't get emotionally invested, even if it sounds like we are. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer allows you to easily compare home insurance rates and coverages in one place, even if it's not with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. I love you. I shouldn't have said that.
Jake Query had one of the best social media posts last night after the game. He just tweeted out, Hoosiers cream the Crimson. Huh? See what you did there, Jake. It's good stuff right there.
That's the most dad joke ever, but it works, baby. It works. All the jokes are funnier when you win. And also, nice little troll job there from our Caleb Zuver.
Oh, he's all about the troll job.
Sweet home Alabama. They're at home right now.
Petty, James. Come on, I learned from the best. I learned from you. You got to be petty, right?
Yeah, no, but say you learned from Mark Dykton, who's also from the Petty family. So
true.
Just an outstanding victory yesterday in the Rose Bowl. And what made it cooler to me, Jeff, was having it done on like that iconic stage. I mean, everyone knows about the Rose Bowl. Everyone knows how big of a deal it is to play there and just the history of that venue. And so for you to be having such a historic campaign, sort of, I can't even say capped in that venue, but to be elevated in that venue was really cool to see.
Yeah, I think also on social media yesterday, our good friend Dominic Miranda of Channel 13 tweeted out, man, they should just have the national championship game at the Rose Bowl every year. That should just be like the permanent national championship game.
Yeah, I do think there are more tweaks to be made to the landscape of the college football playoff. Not necessarily like the team sizes. I just mean, you know, Dan Lanning has been pushing, hey, we should have these games, these semifinal games or quarterfinal games
at home
on the actual campus. Mm-hmm. And I do think that would be really cool. He even admitted, hey, that means we would have been going to Lubbock, Texas to play Texas Tech. And would I have really wanted that? No, but they earned that with the way they were seated. So some tweaks to be made, I'm sure, in the future. But nevertheless, here right now in the present, Indiana has the best football team in the country. And every time you think it can't get much better, they just continue to impress. And boy, I guess if there was ever a forewarning, it was basically when Kurt Signetti said they didn't have too many good practices out there in California. And I was thinking, oh boy, Alabama, if this guy's saying that, it's probably not just lip service, but he has a unique ability to get his team's attention and for them to, I can't say rise to the occasion because you don't really rise to something that you're not prepared for. They're just there already, and they meet the moment because they do it every day in practice, I would assume.
I also love the fact that Kurt Signetti, he just looks like he ate a Sour Patch Kid at all times, no matter what's going on.
I was going to say, but it never gets sweeter. He just gets mad the entire game.
I mean, he's got that look on his face like, oh, I'm going to kill somebody in about 3 seconds. It's the look that every kid sees on their father's face when they've done something wrong, and it's there all the time. I can't believe you just don't even look at me right now. And it doesn't matter if they scored a touchdown, if they got a big first down, if they just converted a 4th and long, if they just picked off a pass for a touchdown or a pick six. He does not change expression.
I think it's a great point, Jeff. And I brought up earlier about how the Indiana skill players were getting their jerseys dirty, being really physical, and Alabama wasn't. And obviously we've talked about how Indiana just in the trenches is just such a different team, and those two things are symbolic of the Signetti era. And the other thing that I think is symbolic of this era is that teams with a bye in the college football playoff, when it's expanded to 12 teams, are 1-7. The only team that's won is Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do believe that Indiana is the no excuses program right now in college football, and nobody embodies that more than their head coach. And it just fits everything that he preaches, everything that he talks about, everything that he does so perfectly. And I think, James, you're right. On that stage, 4 o'clock window on New Year's Day at the Rose Bowl, that's where you want to be. And I think if there was anyone who was not a believer, which is crazy to me that you would still be that way, they were convinced yesterday for sure.
You know, Nick Saban had said all his golfing buddies think that, and I'll clean it up for us, but he had said on the pregame yesterday, the fact that all of his buddies just think that Alabama's going to kick the blank out of Indiana. And I'm like, those people have not been watching college football all year long. It's not like Alabama's been great. Even in that win over Oklahoma, I don't know how much of that game you watched, James. Even in the win over Oklahoma in the first round, neither team looked very good. Neither team looked like they belong in the playoff. In that one. By the way, Paul the Mailman also pointing out that, yes, IU is the first and only team to do it coming off the bye. And if they win out, they will also be the only team to win 16 games ever in a college football season.
Boy, yeah. And from a physicality standpoint, I guess the bye is probably helpful in that regard because you don't want to, get too banged up. But, I mean, at that point, it got to a point where I was thinking, how many backups can you put in because this thing is ugly. And credit to their defensive line. We talked a lot about the Stephen Daly injury and him being absent for this playoff run, but I think that is one of their deeper units on the team, and they certainly got after the Alabama quarterback, Ty Simpson.
The only thing I didn't get to see yesterday that I really wanted to see at the very end, although I don't know how hard Indiana was trying, I would have loved to see an Alberto Mendoza touchdown throw. That would have been so awesome. That would have just been, you want to talk about the sprinkle on top of the cherry on top of the cake. That would have been it right there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That would have been cool. So anyway, IU on their way now to the semifinals. They'll play Oregon again. We'll talk about that all week next
Can't
week.
Wait for that one.
But, man, Dan Henning is a great coach. Dan Lanning, I'm sorry. Dan Henning, an old NFL coach. Dan Lanning, a terrific coach. They've got talent. They've got a quarterback, although I didn't think that Moore looked particularly great yesterday. I always get worried about playing a team 2 times in one season if they're a good team.
And they are. They're a great team. They played Indiana very tough in that game. It wasn't like what we've seen from the last 2 performances from this IU team. It felt like more of the Big Ten sort of championship game against Ohio State, where it was a grinded out game, who's going to make the big plays late. So perhaps that's another opportunity for Indiana to win in that fashion, but they've won in a variety of ways this year, and I don't see a reason why they wouldn't be favored in that game. But I'm excited for it, and it's one of those things where you can't fast forward just yet to the future, but boy, these 7 days are going to drag a little bit before we can get back on here and talk about, what's going on.
Yeah, so they win that. Also, there were people tweeting at us and texting us yesterday during the game at the very end. Josh in Mooresville says, Paul Feinbaum can eat it. Everybody was looking for Paul Feinbaum and what Paul had to say about Alabama yesterday. He's probably all up in his feels right now. And people were doing this during the game. Early this morning when we first got down here, anonymous texter says, years down the road, if you met a past IU football player you didn't know and they told you they played for IU, wouldn't your first question be before or after SIG came? Because playing for IU means two different things during those time periods. Having played for IU during SIG means a lot. Having played for IU a couple of years ago meant nothing. Although I will say we did have a nice year from Tom Allen. It was a fun year from Tom Allen.
Yeah, but
before everything kind of
obviously,
went away.
it wasn't this. This is different. So I am very excited for the future.
Yeah, and so that's where we're at right now on Indiana and Kurt Signetti. But anyway, someone says, anybody check on Feinbaum or Saban? Charles says, Iowa, Oregon, UCLA, Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, undefeated season, first Big Ten title, first Rose Bowl title, all in one season. And somehow, some way, all the so-called sports analysts are going to kiss the SEC's butt. Put the respect on the Hoosiers' name. That's Charles checking in. They have clicked off 20, again, Googling last night, and it's easy math. Kurt Signetti at Indiana is now 25-2.
Is that good?
That's pretty good. And they've beaten Ohio State. They've beaten Alabama. They've beaten Oregon on the road. They've beaten Penn State on the road. They beat Michigan, who was coming off a national championship game last year. They just keep ticking off the boxes, James.
Yeah, and I think at this point, if you're not considering IU to be a real threat to win a national championship as the number one ranked team in the country, you're just a hater. And I respect it. I mean, you stick to your hate around these parts. That's what I believe. You're going to be a hater. You got to be a hater through and through. But at the same time, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure how you can not believe in this team. They put it on tape for 2 years now, especially this year, and they continue to win in a variety of ways. And the Heisman Trophy winner looks good. The defense looks great. Coach is great. And I loved the little finger gun he gave to Pat McAfee after the game to kind of signal like, we're coming.
Yep, and so that's where we're at. Indiana getting ready for a semifinal game against Oregon. It'll be a rematch of a regular season game in which Fernando Mendoza, I thought, had one of his first real signature Heisman Trophy moments. I still go back to how unflappable he was in that Oregon game. After he threw the pick six, it's like it never happened, James. He just got right back out there and started making plays and righted the wrong and led his team to a victory at Autzen Stadium on the road. And I was at that was the moment for me. I was like, okay, we know this Indiana team is good, but maybe this team's special. That was the moment I kind of first thought,
a good distinction.
This might be special. And then when they got the comeback win and the incredible catch at Penn State, I thought, now not only is this team special, but every great team, every championship team, there's a little fairy dust sprinkled on you somewhere along the way, right? And I thought that was their kind of fairy dust moment there where the luck and Lady Luck was kind of shining on them.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say real quick is in a year of Indiana sports where it feels like you're just waiting to exhale, or you have like that heartbreak at the end when it comes to the Pacers and the Fever and Purdue and the NCAA tournament, this team, I don't get that feeling where I'm like nervous of when the other shoe's going to drop. I genuinely look at them and think this isn't like a Cinderella-esque run as much as it is a dominant run. Like, for example, with the Pacers, it was like, boy, they're making shots in the last second, and Halliburton shoots the jumper in New York, and it goes sky high, and it falls in.
I watched that again yesterday,
yeah,
by the way.
that isn't happening with IU to this degree. They've had some moments like that, but I think a lot of their big moments are just literally playing better football and not having like a bounce go their way. I mean, you can look at the Omar Cooper Jr. catch at Penn State, but that's also just a hell of a catch. But beyond that, how many other moments can we look at and say, oh, this was where they barely won and the football gods rewarded them? The football gods are rewarding them because they're just beating the crap out of people.
Yeah, and again, physically just dominating teams on the line of scrimmage, and that's been fun to watch. And again, they will play a semifinal game against Oregon. We'll be talking about that all week next week, but I do want to step in and celebrate what yesterday meant to so many people who have been Indiana fans. I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, but one of my really good friends behind the scenes at ESPN that I've known for years and years, Jeff Martindale, who's a really good friend of mine, grew up in central Indiana, central and southern Indiana, went to Indiana, and even after the Big Ten title game, we were texting back and forth. He goes, dude, I literally have tears in my eyes right now. What this means to the people who've been lifelong Hoosier fans and grown up around here and loved sports, I don't even know how you quantify it, James.
You really can't, honestly. I guess it's just a feeling. I did have someone that I know personally over at the game in the Rose Bowl, and I'm sure they had a great time. And to kind of explain this, we have a message on the text line. The question is, James, I don't do a lot of social media. Can you explain the McAfee situation you were talking about? So after the game, Pat McAfee, who was on the ESPN set, posted a video of him looking over at Curt Signetti after they had won the Rose Bowl, and Curt Signetti turns and looks at him and kind of points and does a little finger gun thing where he and then kind of winks like, we got it done. One of the cooler moments you've seen. And honestly, I think Curt Signetti does a good job in moments like that of balancing the old angry curmudgeon that we see on the sideline with also still acknowledging, yeah, I know what we're doing is cool. And he walks that line, I think, better than most, because the thing about sports and what they're doing is you don't want to get too high off of moments like this because you still have to go play. But it was cool to see him exhale and kind of just show that he is human. He understands what he's doing is unprecedented. And again, giving that little nod, that little wink, that little finger gun to Pat McAfee, and Pat McAfee's, flexing in the background. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, here's the other thing about Signetti, and I'll compare him to Nick Saban. And he's a Nick Saban protege. Obviously was a wide receiver coach and recruiting coordinator for Nick in the early years at Alabama. Nick Saban does it ever feel like Nick Saban was having any fun at all? Did it ever feel like at the end of the day on his drive home, he was like, man, that was a really good time?
Honestly, no.
But Curt Signetti, I feel like under that, there's a little wry smile that he gets every now and then.
For sure.
I get the sense that when he drives home and he's all by himself in that car or with his wife on the way home, he's enjoying the hell out of this ride. Don't you think?
I mean, he's earned it.
Yeah.
This crew has earned it.
I just see that difference. So it felt like Nick Saban was never happy.
Yeah, I mean, and you get it done in different ways. I don't want to sit here and act like,
oh no, Nick Saban's the GOAT.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
The dude is incredible.
He's the GOAT.
He's the gold standard for college football. But to see somebody else have this success this season in their own way is pretty cool. And I guess the best part for these airwaves is most of us get to call him ours, which is that just hasn't been the case. I'm waking up and I'm thinking, boy, am I in the Twilight Zone? But we're not. This is reality. And they're 2 or 3 weeks away from possibly winning a national championship in football, not basketball, but football at Indiana University.
In football, as they like to say. Caleb on the text line. Is this you, Caleb, or is this a different Caleb?
This is not me, no.
All right. I didn't know if you were trolling us too today. Yeah. I use a 3.5-point favorite over Oregon right now. I think Indiana would be a favorite over anybody right now. They're the number one
think
seed.
So. Yeah, most complete team in college football.
But 3.5 points suggest that the bookies, they want to take a lot of money on both sides. So they're basically saying, by setting this at 3.5, we think a lot of people are coming on Oregon.
Well, I mean, I don't blame them necessarily because that was a close game. And Oregon, I think, is a very good team, but they're not IU. So, you know me, I'm not picking against them again. I think I picked against them in the Big Ten championship game. That was dumb. They won by 3. But, yeah, I think after the Illinois beatdown, there's just not many programs I'm going to look at and say they have a chance to knock off IU. And at this point, nah. I mean, you've set the standard of, I don't want to say it's like championship or bust because that would be disingenuous, but you set the expectation that this isn't just a feel-good story and we're fine with bowing out gracefully in the next round of the college football playoffs. Nah. Indiana is on the inside track to winning it all, which, again, sounds like I'm speaking gibberish if you told me this 10 months ago.
I just want to point out what this defense has done all year long. We talk about Mendoza as a Heisman Trophy winner. We talk about Charlie Becker going up and making that great catch yesterday and some of the big plays he's made in key moments here in the last several games. We talk about Omar Cooper, even though he's been injured, how effective and unstoppable he's been. I know in the first half of the season, James, you thought Elijah Surratt could be a guy that could win all kinds of stuff. But let's talk about the defense. And I'm not even going to talk about the first 4 games that they're playing Old Dominion or Kennesaw State or Indiana State, whatever. But starting with the Big Ten schedule, this is what the defense has allowed for points. 10 to Illinois, 15 to Iowa, 20 to Oregon, 13 to Michigan State, 6 to UCLA, 10 to Maryland, 24 to Penn State, 7 to Wisconsin, 3 to Purdue, 10 to Ohio State, 3 to Alabama. That's insane. That's insane.
A complete football team.
They went into that game yesterday giving up an average of less than 11 points a game, and they improved on that against Alabama.
I think that's the takeaway. You look around college football, Miami and Ohio State have really good defenses, but their offenses, even with some of the talent there, it's like, I don't know, they're just not complete. Indiana is a team. They have different guys step up every single game. And again, that's just another characteristic of what Coach Signetti wants, in my opinion, from what he talks about. And you just see it play out every time they go out there. It's unbelievable.
Ohio State's the only team that held them under 20 points this year. Think about that. In today's college football landscape, it's all offense all the time.
I mean, we saw last night with
everything
Ole Miss and Georgia. It was kind of a shootout. And don't get me wrong, I think Indiana can win those types of games too, but their defense is for real. And again, they're without one of the best defensive linemen in the country in Stephen Daly. So the fact that they're doing this without someone who I believe was probably a top 5 interior defensive lineman in the country.
Mm-hmm.
That speaks to how complete the team is and that next man up mentality. All the cliches we hear, they're not cliches with IU. They're for real, which is, again, very fun. And I think one of the greater joys that I've gotten from him personally is not being the Indiana guy and obviously going to a different school and all of that, is hearing from so many that tell me all the stories about watching the game with their father or grandma or whoever and sticking it out when it was really bad, to now having this opportunity to finally flex your muscle and be center stage. And again, it's not a Cinderella story to me. It's more so just a dominant one. There's Cinderella aspects of it, don't get me wrong, but when I think of Cinderella runs, I think of it as kind of being a little bit fluky, where it's like you had a bounce go your way or a call go your way.
Or maybe you've got a great defense, but not a great offense.
What bounces or calls went their way against that team yesterday in Alabama? They just boat raced them and beat them down. I mean, again, after the early 3-and-out and their early field goal, once they got rolling, that avalanche didn't stop.
No, it didn't stop, and it's been fun to watch. I also want to point out that while Indiana is just a 3.5-point favorite on a neutral field, they did beat Oregon by double digits on the road in that game. I know it was closer than maybe the score would indicate, but it was a 30-20 score. It was a 2-score game that they beat Oregon in on the road at Autzen Stadium. I just want to remind people
it's
of that.
Very true. It's a very good point. I have a question for you guys. Are we a fan? I know they had to change it up because of the weather, but are we a fan of flyovers to start the second half? I kind of like that. I'm not even going to lie.
Flyover anytime.
I thought it was kind of cool to start the second half that way. I thought it was nice.
I haven't experienced too many flyovers just covering things. I remember there was one, I believe, for the Indy 500, if I'm not mistaken. That was pretty cool. So after experiencing it in person, I'm for it. I'm cool with
Chiefs
that.
game had one this year, I thought, James.
Yeah, but you know what it is? I'm not outside to experience it. So that's the difference.
I got you.
I should probably phrase it like that. I haven't been outside of the stadium or in outdoor settings to experience it. When I was at the Indy 500, I had went out onto a little media balcony to see it. And that to me made it cooler than being in some press box where you can't really hear it or necessarily recognize the moment. So I was fine with it.
There were some really cool photography shots of that flyover the Indy 500 last year, too, if you go back and look at that on social media. Many years ago, I did an Air Force Navy football game. They do flyovers right at an Air Force
I
Navy
would hope.
football game,
man.
But there's nothing better than a flyover at any time. You can do it between the third and fourth quarter. I'd take the flyover.
I'm with you there.
It's all good stuff. Let's check the text line real quick. Greg Rakestraw coming up in just a moment here. Jeff with a J says, how about that? Our last two texts from Caleb and Jeff. We'll be looking for one from James soon here. Jeff with a J says, I was thinking that Pat McAfee and Kurt Signetti video was before the game started and just as they were getting ready to run out onto the field, which makes it even better. Like, yeah, we got this. A lot of people want to talk about Notre Dame this morning, too. Charles says, all the Notre Dame bleeders are shouting, see, Alabama didn't belong in. And I was thinking yesterday during that fourth quarter, Alabama didn't belong in. Neither did the second Power 5, or not Power 5, but the Group of 5 school. Notre Dame, you can't tell me they aren't actually one of the best 6 or 7 football teams in the country. I'll die on that hill. I'm not even a big Notre Dame fan.
That's a good point. And also, going back to this video, so I must have been confused. Pat McAfee posted this video of Kurt Signetti after they had won.
Posted it after.
But if you look at the video and you see it, it does look like it's before the game. Which makes it even cooler that he could basically, the little finger gun is like a little, you're calling your own shot like you're Babe Ruth or something.
Which is right on brand, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, has he ever gone into it daunted? What's the saying? Ever done it?
He's a guy that basically, it's the old cliche, say what you do and do what you say. That's Kurt Signetti. It ain't bragging if you can back it up, right? That's the other thing they always say.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. I mean, who's bragging now? I guess the bragging is we just win every game.
Yeah.
Literally.
Indy Finisher says, can KB check his soft Notre Dame feelings at the door? He does realize Bloomington is the powerhouse, right? Told you months ago, but I'll say Notre Dame would have given IU or Oregon a better game. So
yeah, that message, I read that as well. It started off as like a shot at KB and then ended with some respect toward Notre Dame.
Well, you gotta have both, right?
I guess you got a little balance in there.
That's exactly how it works with your buddies on the golf course, right? I mean, you'll say nice things to them, but it's always couched in a little dig there somewhere. It's kind of how that works. All right, Greg Rakestraw coming up in just a moment here. It's the day after Indiana just boat races Alabama, and we're here for it, and we'll celebrate it with Greg Rakestraw next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Query and Company.
Shane Steichen said it.
Thought our guys played hard today and fought like crazy.
You know what's crazy? Expecting different results from doing the same thing over and over. I have nothing against Chris Ballard personally, but he's had plenty of time, plenty of it. And now here we are once again sitting there on the sidelines watching the playoffs. Bottom line for the Indianapolis Colts. Got to start looking for different results and doing it under different guidance.
Query and Company weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Do you know what's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide? If you guess Discover.
Jake Query here. Each weekday noon to 3, guests appear live on the Java House Peel and Pour guest line. Use code JAKE25 at javahouse.com to save 25% on your first order.
Have you played Cash Pop from the Hoosier Lottery? It's Indiana's newest draw game, and it's popping. Match just one number from 1 to 15 to win. Tickets start at $1. Prizes start at $5. Visit HoosierLottery.com. Please play responsibly.
107.5 The Fan and Franciscan Health present Good for the Heart Fridays. Listen to Jake Query every Friday to hear a heartwarming story from our local community. Jake knows firsthand the importance of heart health. Jake and The Fan have teamed up with Franciscan Health to make a difference, one beat at a time. Good for the Heart Fridays, brought to you by Franciscan Health Heart Center. Learn proactive measures to keep your heart healthy and schedule your heart scan at franciscanhealth.org/screening bundles. Get ready to hoop. It's back. Time to try your skills around Indy locations with Michelob Ultra's Mini Hoops Challenge. Michelob Ultra Mini Hoops Challenge gives you a chance to win a Michelob Ultra basketball jersey and punch your ticket to the Mini Hoops Finals, where a trip to see Indiana versus Milwaukee in Milwaukee on February 6th is on the line, complete with a hotel gift card and $100 Visa gift card. Visit 1075thefan.com today to see all the locations and details.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Most insurance accepted.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang!
It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
From the DriveHubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WIBC HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.
This is The Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
You keep setting a new standard for the greatest moment in Indiana history. First, it was winning a game like Oregon on the road. Then it was beating Ohio State for the Big Ten championship. Now it's winning the Rose Bowl. How would you describe the turnaround and what you've been able to build in a short period of time?
A hell of a movie.
3rd down and 8. Kalon Black is back in the lineup. Here's the snap back to Fernando. Has time, rolling over the middle. He's got Becker. Oh, what a catch! Charlie Becker! Touchdown, Indiana! Tremendous throw by Fernando Mendoza, but what a catch by Becker! Here's the snap. Fakes the handoff, looks to throw it, does throw the end zone. Touchdown! Hemby in the backfield now with Fernando Mendoza. Takes the snap. Fernando looks left, fires it down the field. He's got Surratt. Touchdown! What a perfect throw by Fernando. 24 yards, and Indiana scores again. And Fernando puts the man behind him. That is Black. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to Kalon. Fights his way through it, and he breaks the tackle. Down to the 5. Oh, what a run! Touchdown! What a program. What a turnaround for Indiana football. Final score, Indiana 38, Alabama 3.
But I only have one thing to say.
What do you even say after that? Great job, Caleb. But Indiana just taking Alabama down, pushing them to the side, moving on. I can't wait to talk to our next guest, James Boyd. He is Indiana sports through and through. He has seen the highs, the lows, basketball, football, Even the baseball program, the soccer programs have had national appearances down there. Everything's gone well at some point or another for just about every program at Indiana. And now it's football's turn, and I can't wait to see what Greg Rakestraw has to say about a 38-3 beatdown of the SEC's Alabama Crimson Tide in a college football playoff game. We welcome Mr. Rakestraw to our program now on the Payless Liquors hotline. Greg, I can almost imagine, if it's even possible, that for a moment you're even speechless over just how dominant Indiana was last night.
Yeah, we have run out of adjectives because so many games, and somebody else said this and not me, but I have spaced as to who said it. You know, they have had like 5 or 6 different biggest games in program history in the last 2 years. That's one sign as to just how remarkable this is. Think about in Don Fisher's storied career, he never called a game of the actual Rose Bowl. Obviously, last year got to call a game from the Rose Bowl, but that spans over, half of a century. And yesterday was a first for him. Maybe the modern version of this is in the last 2 years, one team that had the bye has now won the college football playoffs, and that was Indiana University. So I can keep firing stats at you, but I'm still not sure if I have the full comprehension of just how remarkable, complete, and thorough the turnaround of this program has been. So maybe the best way to describe it, or the best reference I can make, is go back to when Curt Signetti has the microphone at Assembly Hall as he is being introduced to the Indiana faithful. Purdue sucks, but so does Ohio State, and so does Michigan. And in that time, Indiana's got 4 wins amongst those 3 schools, and now will have the chance to play to be in the national championship game 2 weeks from now. It's stunning and staggering, and I almost feel like I have to say, yes, these are actual factual statements about Indiana University football.
Rake, when you referenced that intro, I can't even call it a press conference. It was kind of like a school rallying, and he calls out the other programs in the Big Ten. I was thinking this guy is out of his mind. And now I still think this guy's out of his mind because he can't crack a smile when they're up 30 points on the sideline. So when you look at how dialed in his team has been, he talked about how crazy the run has been, the historical perspective that they're in, but to push that aside and still get his team to perform at this level, how much do you think that says about his coaching ability? Because he has a bunch of young people who, I was their age at one point. I'm not too old, obviously, but, 18 and 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, getting them to dial it in and ignore all the noise, all the praise, and go out there and perform like that. How much do you think that says about just his level of focus and just his level of coaching?
Well, I have said this in various interviews before, and there is a lot of coaches that do the rubber chicken circuit, the banquet circuit, teach leadership classes. I think most of them are crap. He is the one guy that I'm like, okay, I would pay money to hang around his practice and see exactly how he gets accomplished what he does in such a short period of time, and how the main thing is the main thing, how he stays focused, etc. The other element to think about this, and it's what I've said when asked about kind of this team and why I think they can be successful. But let's think about when we kind of knew the forecast was going to be, potentially sloppy during the game, which it wasn't. So hat tip to the grounds crew at the Rose Bowl, who never has to deal with rain, but clearly dealt with it exceedingly well because it didn't rain during yesterday's game. But if this turns into a slop fest, that favors Indiana because they're the more physical team. And the word that I keep using about Indiana is that they maul people. They did that. So it's one thing because in the past, if Indiana was going to have any level of football success, it was going to come because they had a couple of talented offensive players. They were going to out-scheme or out-gimmick you. And that's not to take away from anything that Cam Cameron did during his time, or I take away from anything that Kevin Wilson did during his time, because they both advanced the ball, not to this level. Those teams can move the football offensively because they'd out-scheme you or trick you or out-think you. This team outthinks you. This team just kicks your ass. That's what this team does. Alabama is the bellwether of the SEC, and it was complete BTA yesterday. And, James, you can explain what that phrase means to Jeff because I'm pretty sure you get it and he doesn't. But it was ridiculous watching what they did to Alabama yesterday, JB.
Yeah.
You want to take a stab at BTA, what that means, Jeff?
No, not here.
Belt to ass. That's what that means. And that's what that was yesterday to Alabama.
In my day, we said BYA.
Yeah.
There's a little different.
Like, now I got to go wash my mouth out with soap. Grandma would not be pleased, Rake, but it was necessary watching what I watched yesterday.
We're starting the new year on a high note. We're dropping that twice in 1 second. I apologize. But
no,
that's
that's
fine.
fine.
I think about describing it.
I think Mark Dykton tweeted it out almost word for word yesterday at the end of that game,
not surprised
too.
by that at all.
I want to go back to just internal thoughts, though, because it's so meaningful and it's so new and so unique. My wife, who's a big sports fan, I call her the rational sports fan. She doesn't live and die with them, but, man, she knows everything. She loves watching the games. She had to do something really important for a minute during the second half, during halftime, and she came back at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and I said, it's 38-3. And the look on her face, Greg, was one of disbelief, awe, and joy all at the same time. When Indiana took a 38-3 lead in that game yesterday, what was going on in the noggin of Greg Rakestraw?
In the middle of the fourth quarter, I kept going, they're going to play Fernando's little brother, aren't they? In a national quarterfinal in the Rose Bowl, they're going to throw the backup in there, not because they want to get him the memory of playing in the Rose Bowl, because they're protecting their starter for the next game. Again, that seems unfathomable to so many of us. Or the fact that Indiana knocked Alabama's quarterback out of the game. Again, goes back to that physicality that we talk about with this football team. The best experience I can give it to you, and obviously I'm not as emotionally connected to the Indiana football story as I am to the story I'm about to tell you. But in my years of being the IUPUI/IU Indy play-by-play guy, the ultimate story I tell is about the 1 year that we qualified for the NCAA tournament, and just the way things worked out was in Kansas City, and we rode a bus home after a 9 o'clock Eastern time, game. So we ran our roll back into campus about 7 a.m. or 7:30, and most of that trip back overnight was myself, assistant coaches, et cetera, talking about who do we think we're going to match up with. We're going to get Kentucky. We're going to get Marquette and Dwayne Wade. We're going to get Duke, whomever. As far as our first-round matchup, it was Kentucky, by the way, Marcus Estel and Keith Bogans. But about every 10 minutes, we just start laughing because I'm like, can you believe we're having this conversation? And it's kind of the same thing about IU football. About every 5 or 10 minutes, you just kind of think, is this really happening? And the answer is most definitely it certainly is.
Hey, before I let you go, Greg, do you have any more, James, before we get going?
No, I guess I would pivot a little bit to the Colts. I know it's not the big picture topic and certainly not today. But, Rick, we do have Riley Leonard starting in the regular season finale. They're going into a offseason which will be their fifth without a playoff berth in a row. How do you feel about just the balance or how unique of a situation that Carly Ursay-Gordon will find herself in a few days? Because on one hand, I can see a bunch of changes being made. On the other hand, I can see everything staying the same and see valid reasons for both. But I guess maybe excited isn't the right word, but, how interested are you to see how she carries this out?
Very intrigued, maybe, is the word that
yes, that's the word.
Just because, obviously she to some degree has inherited a situation that is uncommon where the team has been as average, has been competitive, but not overly successful, because typically general manager runs don't last that long when you have been hovering around 500, as this team has. In Chris's now 9-year tenure, there's only 2 years they've been bad. One was his first year. You don't put that on him. And the other one was 2022 when the quarterback carousel finally just kind of, careened off the rails with Matt Ryan. Other than that, this team has been in playoff contention or a playoff team. And if you look at the roster, I'm preparing to duck as I say this. I don't think they're that far away. There's I can look offensively and go, hey, I kind of have an idea who the 11 starters are next year, and they're on this roster. Defense, and frankly, whomever is drafting and I'd probably lean towards it being Chris in the spring. But whoever is drafting, it's real simple. Hey, draft the best defensive player available pretty much in each round because you kind of know what you have on the offensive side of the football. And so the three words that I keep coming back to, James and Jeff, they're not very long. I don't know. I don't have a read on what Carly is going to do. I'm not sure how she is going to handle this. Based on what happened this year, you could easily say bring everybody back, but that's ignoring the previous 8 years when it comes to Chris. And so we're going to find out come Monday morning. And again, if you're going to make a move, you need to be announcing that Sunday night or Monday, because if not, then it's everybody go on the same page and let's go. But the phrase I keep coming back to is I don't know. I don't have a handle as to how this situation is going to play out.
How competitive do you think they'll be against the Texans on Sunday?
I think they'll be competitive because, again, it's kind of what they have been. They have not been in this, it's not like they've just been getting thumped. The closest thing to it was the Niners, and even though they got beat by 3 touchdowns, frankly, they had the ball down 2 scores and were driving, late in that game. So I think they'll be competitive, and it wasn't like Riley Leonard appeared crazy lost when he did get to play against Jacksonville, in the back half of the December 7th game. So I do think they'll be competitive. Obviously, Houston has, much more to play for from a seeding standpoint. The Colts have nothing to play for at this point. But I also think there's going to be kind of a sense of being relaxed for this football team, and that usually kind of tends to help you. So I don't think they're going to get housed, but you probably got to lean towards the Texans winning this game for sure.
Always good to talk to you, buddy. Enjoy a day or two before the Colts game, and we'll listen for you again in the postgame on Sunday afternoon.
Thanks, fellas. Happy New Year.
You too. The one, the only Greg Rakestraw joining us on the Payless Liquors hotline. It's very interesting when we talk about Carly Gordon and what she has in front of her now, regardless of what happens on Sunday. I go back to something, I can only imagine a conversation that had to happen right before they picked up Phillip Rivers. In my mind, this conversation goes, Chris Ballard calls her or goes to her office or whatever it is they do to communicate, and he says, hey, can I throw an absolutely crazy idea past you? And she's like, sure. I love crazy ideas. And Chris Ballard says, what if we bring in Phillip Rivers for a look? He spends all week on the phone with Shane Steichen talking about the offense that he's running in his high school program, and the two of them talk about what the Colts did right and why it worked and why it didn't, and Phillip has insight and even helps Steichen out a little bit with an observation here or there. He still says he's in decent shape. What if we bring him in and give him a quick run at quarterback as we try to make the playoffs here? And then Carly Gordon says, you know what? It's crazy, but I kind of like that idea. Let's do it. Because there had to be some buy-in there, right? That had to cross her desk.
Yeah, to break it down more.
So, but real quickly, let me go where I'm going with this. So it is what it is. Feel good moments. He had the one game where he throws for 277 yards, but truly he didn't get you over the hump. 0-3. Does she look at that collaboration, if you will, where she says, yeah, I'll sign off on Phillip Rivers coming here, and say to herself, well, there's Chris again, always looking for a new and creative way to get something done. And maybe that's what I want moving forward with a guy that I know and trust, as opposed to blowing it up and starting all over. You see where I'm heading with all that?
I do. I would just say that, from what I understand, it was more so Shane Steichen doing the bidding for Phillip Rivers, and obviously then it goes to the GM, and then it goes to the owner. So I would just put it like this. When you get to your third-string quarterback in the NFL, I don't know if you necessarily should be judged by the results of that, because although some people, and I was in that camp, thought that Riley Leonard should have just played instead of getting Phillip Rivers to come out of retirement. But at that point, I don't think that it would have gone much better for Riley at all, quite frankly, considering that would have been his first real extended stint in the NFL. But to me, to go back to your point, Jeff, I think if you're looking at decisions that were made, that were co-signed by Carly Gordon alongside Chris Ballard, it's probably the Sauce trade for me, because in your first year as the principal owner, and in Chris Ballard's 9th year, both of you thought after 7, 8 games, 9 games with Daniel Jones that he was your future. And I'm not saying he wasn't playing well up to that point, but we also know his injury history. And we also know that there was still a lot of time left in the season to see kind of how things played out. The trade deadline is one thing. You had to make a move by then if you wanted to kind of bolster your championship window. And at the time, I thought it was an aggressive, fine move. But now, looking back at it, I think you have to look at yourself and look at your leadership and say, boy, did we mortgage too much too early? And maybe were we too aggressive too early on? So it's an interesting conversation to have. And I do think whichever way you slice it, no one's going to feel good coming out of it, but you probably have to do something if you want to change what's happened in years past. Because in my opinion, I get that Rake is saying that they're close, but how many times have we said that in the last 5 years?
Not. They're close, but they're not.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, close, you would have made the playoffs by now.
Yeah,
you have not. It's been a half decade.
It's not like they're coming back with Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or even Brock Purdy. You have a guy with an injury history that has not exactly lit the world on fire for most of his career when he has been healthy.
Right. So it's a tough situation to be in. And honestly, if you're looking at decisions that you should have made, maybe a couple of years ago, you should have gave Kurt Signetti a call. So maybe he can come save the Colts.
Yeah, there are 32 NFL teams and about 100 college football teams now going, darn it, we could have had that guy.
I'm just saying, man. Hindsight's 20/20 for sure.
But I will say this when it comes to Carly Ursay-Gordon. I love the fact that I think she was making a statement when she signed off on the trade for Sauce Gardner and giving away first-round picks in each of the next 2 years. She was telling her players, her coaching staff, her general manager, that if you get us close, I will give you everything you say you need to go win a championship. I believe that's the statement she was making to Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard and everybody on that team by saying, hey, look, if you really think that we are that close and we can go all in, I am, as her father famously said, all chips in. I think she was demonstrating that, don't you?
I do. But now those chips have crumbled, so you got to figure out what's next.
All right, Caleb, let's check it down and move this thing along. What do you think the lead story should be today, James?
Notre Dame basketball.
Oh. We'll get to that. Indiana, the number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff, defeated Alabama 38-3 in a quarterfinal game of the college football playoff yesterday. It was at the Rose Bowl. It was all Indiana all day long. Once they took that initial 3-point lead and then Alabama turned the ball over on downs right after that, it was all Indiana all day long, 38-3. They held the Crimson Tide to 23 yards rushing and 193 total yards, and they spread the wealth. Fernando Mendoza had more touchdown passes than incompletions. He was 14 of 16 for 192 yards. They didn't need him to throw more than that. He had 3 touchdowns because Kalen Black ran for 99 yards. They ran as a group for 240 yards plus. Omar Cooper had a touchdown pass. Charlie Becker had a touchdown reception, I should say. Elijah Surratt also had a touchdown reception. All 5 of their big skill position players scored a touchdown in that game yesterday. Everybody got to play. There was an interception. There was a forced fumble that knocked the quarterback out of the game for Alabama. It was domination physically up and down the field all day long for Indiana over Alabama. All day long.
It's a new world. IU is the standard. Everyone else is trying to catch up.
I loved it. 38-3 was the final score. Also yesterday, Oregon beat Texas Tech 23-0. That will be the next opponent for Indiana. It'll be on Friday night from the Sugar Bowl in Atlanta, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. The Ducks and the Indiana Hoosiers, the rematch right now. Odds makers say the Hoosiers are 3.5-point favorites. 3.5-point favorites to a team that just beat Alabama by 35, that beat Oregon on the road in their place by 10 earlier in the season. I always get nervous playing a team for the second time. I get that. But I like 3.5 points right there, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they beat them before. Like you said, it's hard to be a good team twice in the same season, but that doesn't mean I pick against a team that actually won. It ain't that sweet.
Yeah. Also, Ole Miss 39-34 comeback win over Georgia yesterday to knock the Bulldogs out of the college football playoff. They will play Thursday night against the Miami Hurricanes. Hurricanes got a big win on Friday night. Quick question, nothing to do with anything, but Michael Irvin, was he just acting a fool after that football game?
Hey, speaking of BTA, James, he be every game.
Did you see that with the Gatorade thing on there and everything else? Like,
yeah, but
I like Michael. He's entertaining, but was that a little over the top?
In all seriousness, Jeff, he has done that all year.
I know, but it's
every single game.
It feels like it's at some point. It feels like it's more about me, Michael Irvin, than it is about my team.
Are you surprised? I was about to say, is this the same Michael Irvin that we remember from the Cowboys? I am not surprised by that assessment at all.
He is on brand. I'll get to that. So it'll be Miami taking on Ole Miss, and that'll be on Thursday night at the Fiesta Bowl, and then Friday night, Oregon taking on Indiana at the Sugar Bowl. Later on tonight, in the NBA, Pacers back at the Fieldhouse. They'll be hosting the San Antonio Spurs, trying to snap a 10-game losing streak. No Victor Wembanyama. He will be out tonight with a left knee soreness, is what the Spurs are saying right now. Don't think that's going to be a long-term thing, they said, but they wanted to give him a break.
That's good. You know, you want to see the best players in any sport be out there, so well wishes to Wemby getting healthy, and perhaps the Pacers getting a little healthy spirited-wise, but getting the win.
Tomorrow, college basketball. Butler will be at home hosting Villanova at noon. If you don't go to the game, you can watch it on TNT, or if you go to the game and just they're out running errands, you can listen to it live right here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan with Mark Minner and Nick. That'll be a lot of fun. Purdue tomorrow night will take on Wisconsin on the road. That'll be a Fox game beginning at 8 p.m. And just because he's not here, I will mention that Notre Dame plays Cal tonight at 11 p.m. You can watch that one on ESPN2. So Kevin Bowen, don't say I never gave any love to Notre Dame. When Kevin returns, I will return to skipping over them. Fair?
Fair enough.
All right. Only because he catches it on the other side. NFL, we talked about the Colts with Greg Rakestraw a moment ago. They'll play at the Texans to conclude the 2025 football season, a team that was once 7-1, trying to not lose for the 7th time in a row and trying to at least squeak out the year with a winning record. Can you imagine starting 7-1 and finishing the year 8-9, James? That's what we're up against right now.
Who cares?
Man.
I mean, I hear you, Jeff, but boy, trying to do the and Zaire actually said in the locker room, it would mean a lot to have a winning season. I'm thinking, brother, this is another lost season.
All right, and we all wait and wonder what will Carly Ursay-Gordon be thinking during that game and after the game. I can't imagine anything really happens during the game that would alter whatever decision she's going to make. My guess is she kind of already knows what she wants to do.
I don't know. I can't read her. I can't read her.
But I think that's a strength of hers. I don't want people to be able to read the owner.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I really don't know what she can do because there's no precedent that I can lean on saying she did X, Y, Z in the past. This is a whole new world for the Colts.
Speaking of weird new worlds in the college football, I'll point this out again. I did in the last hour, but James, want to get your reaction again and other people's as well. Lane Kiffin earned $500,000 for Ole Miss's win in that playoff game the other night as part of his termination agreement and his deal to ride off into the sunset to LSU. He gets any postseason bonuses that will be earned by the team.
The rich get richer. You think he's actually cheering for Ole Miss? Or is he praying for their downfall?
I think he's cheering for his
get
kids.
his coaches to Ole Miss or to LSU that are still on the Ole Miss staff. I can't tell if he wants them to win or lose.
Right?
I don't know.
You'd think he'd want good things for all the kids that he recruited and coached and spent time
with.
He
probably wants them to lose it and come on over to LSU quicker. I don't know.
Bring your national championship over to my place is what he's probably hoping. But anyway, that's what's happening in the world of sports. Coming up in a moment, we'll talk more about Indiana's big win. What's up next? We'll take your phone calls at 239-1070. You can also hit us up on the fan text line, 239-1070. We'll get to some of those as well. As we continue, a Friday morning, this is the perfect work week. Every holiday season should be in the middle of the week. I'm a big fan at this point in time. We'll talk about it all next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's JMV. If you like bourbon, Big Red Liquors is your place. Visit bourbonworld.net to get all the info you need on the good stuff, along with monthly allocated raffles online and in-store. You can sign up for weekly bourbon reviews at bourbonworld.net as well. If you're passionate about bourbon, this is your place. Log on to bourbonworld.net today. All a part of what Big Red Liquors can do for you. For a location nearest you, log on right now. That's bigredliquors.com.
When it came to setting them up for a bright future, Indiana Tech did more for these graduates than they ever imagined.
It helped me land my dream job and continue to serve people.
It put me in a position to help others reach their potential.
It gave me the background and the confidence to keep aiming higher.
It gave me a platform to help make a difference for others.
With flexible online classes, personalized support to help you succeed, over 100 high-quality career-focused certificates, and degrees in in-demand fields like business, healthcare, engineering, criminal justice, information technology, cybersecurity, and more.
I earned a Master's of Business Administration and Marketing.
I completed my Bachelor's of Business Administration and my MBA, Master's of Business Administration.
I was able to graduate with my Bachelor's of Science and Computer Engineering.
Isn't it time to see what Indiana Tech can do for you?
There's no better time than now.
Learn more at online.indianatech.edu.
Registration for the next class session ends January 9th.
When it comes to restoring your hair and your confidence, picking the right team makes all the difference. And at We Grow Hair Indy, some of the biggest names in sports, radio, entertainment, trust them with their hair restoration. We're talking Olympians, former NFL players, maybe even a radio host or two. They all chose We Grow Hair Indy because the results speak for themselves. And I've talked with people that have had it out of state, out of the country, and oh boy, some of their endorsements, not the most glowing, but I can be glowing about We Grow Hair Indy. They are excellent. I was a little hesitant at first walking into the building, but they are very reassuring. The education I got from Darren Andrews and his staff made my decision for me, and then I went ahead with the Artist Robotic FUE hair procedure. And from your first visit, I think you're going to know why. We Grow Hair Indy's technology is unmatched, and their team has decades of experience and proven results you can actually see. So if you're ready, take control of your hair loss, choose the right team, and schedule your free in-person or virtual evaluation today. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com or call 317-522-2995.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed or your money back. Only $59.99. Destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss at 5:30 p.m., stop smoking at 8. And January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking at 2. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State. With 10 minutes left in the second quarter, Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
107.5 The Fan and Franciscan Health present Good for the Heart Fridays. Listen to Jake Query every Friday to hear a heartwarming story from our local community. Jake knows firsthand the importance of heart health. Jake and The Fan have teamed up with Franciscan Health to make a difference, one beat at a time. Good for the Heart Fridays, brought to you by Franciscan Health Heart Center. Learn proactive measures to keep your heart healthy and schedule your heart scan at franciscanhealth.org/screening bundles.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More, there's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door, it's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21. The Ride with JMV.
And the Colts losing skid now has reached 6 games.
You have exhausted everything, and you've even seen the good. You saw a 2-month run of the good that came to fruition that failed miserably. There's not any Band-Aids or any patches that will do a damn bit of good until you change everything up.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 to 6
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hemby in the backfield now with Fernando Mendoza. Takes the snap. Fernando looks left, fires it down the field. He's got Surratt. Touchdown! What a perfect throw by Fernando. 24 yards, and Indiana scores again.
I feel like calling like the athletic director at Alabama and just dropping that highlight and leaving it as a message. And Indiana scores again.
Call into Bama Sports Radio today.
It has
How
to
about
be
that?
amazing right now, Caleb. Can you imagine what the airwaves are like down in Alabama?
There's a lot of people when the YouTube stream got started this morning that were asking him about what Paul Feinbaum is thinking or saying right now. I was like, hey, I'm tuning in today because I want to see not even so much to see what Feinbaum says, but just to see what those Alabama fans will call in and say.
They're going to be melting down.
And even the Georgia fans, too. Like, this is if you hate the SEC, this is a good day for you.
If you're in, whether it's Birmingham or Tuscaloosa or anywhere down there today, sports radio, how much is it
the funniest
about
calls all
Alabama?
day.
How much of it is just Alabama melting down and we got to do something different and I don't know if this is the right coach and or how much of it is, man, I didn't know Indiana was that good. You think anybody's going to call up Paul Feinbaum and go, man, I didn't know Indiana was that good?
I don't think so. I think it's just take calls all day.
I want to call
fire
Feinbaum and just play that bite of Don Fisher going, and Indiana scores again.
Yeah.
That's what I want
How
to
about
do.
we get some people to call us? 239-1070.
Yeah.
If you're feeling good about the IU Hoosiers and you want to share your experience watching this run, please call us and give us some of your reaction.
Gritty, by the way, pointing out it's the Peach Bowl. They'll be playing it on Friday. Last night it was the Sugar Bowl, but the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. Sugar Bowl, of course, in New Orleans. And I think I got ahead of myself. But, yeah, Peach Bowl, just for clarity's
All I'm
sake.
thinking about is national championship.
All I'm thinking about is
baby.
semifinals, baby. They could play that anywhere.
They really
don't
could.
care.
You know, Signetti wouldn't care.
No.
He'd be game for it. I will say this, though. So,
Didn't they
as
call it
I'm-
Memorial West? Somebody in the postgame called it Memorial West.
Yeah, I forget who that was. I think it was the offensive lineman.
Was it Coogan, maybe?
Yeah, it was Coogan. It was.
To that point, seeing the fans who just didn't want to leave, that was really cool because I was thinking, boy, if you ever get an experience to see something like that happen live in front of your face, I do feel like security would have to come to me at some point and say, all right, it's time for you to get up.
I thought, too, that's a great point, James, because obviously cloudy all day.
Yep.
And then towards the end of the game, it's almost poetic how the sun comes out, and then you get the sunset at the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
That was awesome.
It's perfect. That's what makes it such a great setting, too. The sun, my wife even said that, oh, look, in the fourth quarter, the sun came out, and all of a sudden you could see it just the sunshine bathing of course, everybody was wearing red, but it sure felt like a 70-30 split in favor of Indiana yesterday, didn't it? Just listening to the crowd.
Yeah, for sure.
If not more. Might have been more than 70-30 for a couple of reasons. First of all, what a big deal it is for Indiana right now doing that. And I'm sure all the Alabama fans are like, yeah, we're saving our money up for the national championship game.
Do you think they were that confident?
They're Alabama.
I get that, but boy, this year's Alabama. Well, you're right, they're Alabama, but I just feel like they had to have known, at least the ones that are somewhat reasonable, because all of them can't be crazy. They had to know this year's team was flawed.
Right?
If you watch college football outside of the SEC, which, again, I'm not sure if Alabama fans do. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, there's no way you can't come to the conclusion that, man, Indiana's really good. And so I don't know. I would like to think that, James, but football fans can be regional and tribal.
True. But going into it, I'm like, at least I would think objective thinking about this game was Alabama has to play perfect. They have to get some breaks to go their way, and that's how they'll win. And it'll be some ridiculous score where, it's 30-29 and somebody missed a field goal or something like that. Yeah. Versus I thought if IU were to win the game, it would be because they're just a better team all around. And granted, I didn't think it was going to be a beatdown to that degree. I actually picked it to be a very close game because I thought the bye.
I think I picked 27-17, didn't I, Caleb? Does that sound right?
I think you did. I think I picked 30-27. Which in hindsight is crazy.
24-17 was mine, so I'm right there with you.
Because I thought the bye would catch up to him to a degree, and I should never doubt Signetti, but I thought that would be a factor because all the other teams just haven't responded well to having that long of a break. But then again, IU is just not all the other teams. They're the best team in the country.
No, I saw also checking out some social media last night. I saw Eddie White just said, anybody check in on Feinbaum? That one I liked. And then somebody, when people put out those maps of the United States and they'll put a team that dominates this region and they'll color in the states for that, somebody posted everybody in college football who's not an Alabama fan right now, and it just had IU and the whole country was red. Everybody was rooting for that game yesterday, which was cool, and I thought that was fun. We would be remiss, though, and we can't let him off the hook entirely because we got just a minute or two here, and this is the appropriate place to do it, James. We do need to check in on Caleb a little bit. Do need to check. I'm not going to let you. You thought you were going to get. You thought you were going to get away with this.
Wait, what happened?
The entire 3 hours, Mr. Ohio State over there on the other side of the glass. Explain yourself, please.
Well, look, man, I did mention on Wednesday, to be fair, that I was worried about the Miami offensive or defensive line, and that proved to be a big problem, especially in that first half. And look, man, I think Ohio State was not as good as we thought. And that certainly proved itself to be
Or is Miami
out.
better than we thought?
I think that could be true, but I think we'll relate this back to Indiana for a second, because at the end of the day, if you can get pressure rushing 3 guys or 4 guys, the other team's at a severe disadvantage. And
Yes.
and Miami with Mesidor and Ruben Bain, those guys are freaking monsters, going to be top draft picks. And they were rushing 3 consistently and getting to Julian Sands. So, yeah, disappointing, but, Ohio State, at the end of the day, couldn't run the ball and couldn't do the things necessary to win, so they deserve to lose.
Caleb, you're fine. I mean, you don't have to eat as much crow as I did, brother. I talked so much trash for that Illinois IU game.
That was a long time ago, though.
You're funny, though.
No, I did it for
You leaned
about a
into
month, I believe. And so I was talking, and we're going to beat the brakes off of them. We're going to do all this, do all that. And, yeah, that was horrendously bad. So
I appreciate you, James.
Thank you for being a good sport.
A couple of things I noticed over the weekend from College Game Day, Nick Saban on there. He's a guy that said all along that Miami, as he looks at all these teams, he said, Miami's a team I don't want to play. They're getting it together at just the right time. And they have talent all over the place. I also saw that Nick Saban, when it came down to it on game day, selected Alabama to beat Indiana. But then I thought to myself, is he legally required
He's
to pick?
got to. He's got to.
He can't go home with Miss Terry if he doesn't pick Alabama.
Right.
Can he?
And you said it earlier, Jeff, he plays golf with his Bama buddies. I mean, he's got to pick Bama. So I'm not even so much worried about that.
We can't be mad at Nick for picking Bama, though, right? That's the one guy we can't be mad at.
Nah, but I honestly was thinking in your heart of hearts, if you're not coaching them, they have no shot.
Just wait till Signetti retires in about 20 years and he's on a game day set or something. He's going to have to pick Indiana every time they ask him. I'll tell you that.
But by that point, they'll have multiple national championships and they will have earned it.
Isn't a part of him, though, Nick Saban, there's got to be a huge part of him that's really happy for and rooting for Kurt Signetti, right?
Yeah, for sure. I
That's
mean,
one
you
of
worked
his
with him
guys.
years ago, but I don't know. I feel like the loyalty probably lies to the program that you were at the longest, but yeah, I would think so.
I will say this, though. The Nick Saban coaching tree, this college football playoff this year, it's littered with guys from the Nick Saban coaching tree.
That is true. I always think that some of this stuff is photoshopped, but it's not.
I mean, whether it's Lanning, whether it's Cristobal, now Signetti. I think there were 1 or 2 other guys that were straight out of, I guess you could call Lane Kiffin, even though the effect that he's had on Ole Miss, even though he's gone, is still right around there.
How about this from Adam K. in the text line? My brother-in-law is an IU graduate who went to grad school at Georgia. There is 0 chance anyone who's calling into those radio shows is going to give IU credit for being good. 0. That is simply not how they function. Adam K., thank you for the insight. I'm just trying to be reasonable, but as you all keep reminding me, college football is not reasonable, especially in the Southeastern Conference.
That's why we have sports radio, because none of this is reasonable whatsoever.
Great point, Jeff.
I get mad if I ever have comments with Kevin and James. I'm like, come on, guys, let's be a little more unreasonable on the radio sometimes. It's fun to be unreasonable. Here's my unreasonable happiness this week, though. For me personally, the fact that in one college football weekend, Ohio State lost, Georgia lost, and Indiana beat the brakes off Alabama. I could not. The only thing that could happen this weekend that would go better. I fully now expect the Pacers to beat the Spurs tonight, and then I expect the Colts to come up with an upset victory. If you give me if you give me a Pacers win tonight and a Colts win on Sunday, that might be the most perfect weekend of all weekends right there. Ohio State losing, Georgia losing, Indiana beating the brakes off of Alabama, Pacers beating the Spurs, and the Colts spoiling the Texans season. That would be the perfect weekend.
All right. Let's hit to the break.
I want it all, and I want it now.
We got some listeners on the line. We'll get to on the other side. And thanks for listening to the Fan Morning Show here on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Memorial Day savings are here at the Home Depot. So take your kitchen to the next level with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like LG. Plan your get-togethers with an LG refrigerator you can count on for years to come at the Home Depot. And with the connected ThinQ app, you'll know if the door is left open and when to change the filter. Spend less time worrying this Memorial Day with savings on LG, America's most reliable appliance brand at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 4th, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Is the water your family drinks and uses truly high quality? If you've noticed a bad taste, a musty odor, rust stains, or hard water, call C&J Water. C&J is offering a free water analysis to ensure your water is the best it can be. A C&J expert will visit your home at a time that works for you to analyze your city or well water and answer any questions. The visit only takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Schedule your free water analysis now. Visit cnjwater.com or call 317-733-SOFT today.
It's JMV for Indiana's Best. My friend Eric Wilson and Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37. It's in Fishers. Check it out right now. The GMC Acadia, good for you, the family, and the friends of the family. Inventory, car buying experience, service after the sale, the absolute best. It's one-stop shopping. Ask for Eric Wilson and head to Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been your one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
If your car is less than 10 years old, there's likely something hidden in your radio. Another way for you to listen to The Fan. Go to 93.1 and look for the HD radio button. Press it and you'll hear The Fan everywhere.
The Colts wind up the regular season with the Houston Texans. Coverage Sunday morning at 10 on 97.1 Hank FM.
I think one of my favorite things about just scrolling through social media while the game was ongoing yesterday, because it's fun to see people's reactions when something unique is happening, right? Before the game, the number of people that were talking about Indiana as if they were just this big old bubble that was about to burst was crazy to me. And I picked just one out of a hat. A guy named Paul Harrison who says he's got like 592 followers and says content creator for 366 Sports, whatever that is. He writes, he can't wait basically for Indiana. Here's what he said. Happy Indiana Elimination Day, exclamation point. They played nobody all season and are going to get exposed by a great SEC program in Alabama today. Did he watch Alabama play their last couple of games? Did that look like a great Nick Saban Alabama-esque team? No. And Indiana has physically dominated every team they've played all season long at one time or another during the game. They did it on the road at Penn State. They did it on the road at Oregon. They did it in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State. They did it against overmatched Big Ten teams all year long. I don't know why anybody thought that particular game yesterday was going to be any different. I think Oregon will actually give them a real football game. I understand why it's just a 3.5-point spread.
That should be a big test, but let's head to the Payless Liquors hotline and hear from one of our listeners, JJ from Fishers. Do we got him, Caleb?
Yep, he's good to go.
JJ, your turn. Go for it.
Hey, good morning, fellas. Happy New Year coming in, and it's a Happy New Year because of IU and what they're doing. Let me tell you something. I listen to you guys, and, of course, Jay Query and JMV, and I'm excited. I love what y'all do. I'm a Boilermaker, but I am an state of Indiana team lover when it comes to whoever's in the tournament. Indiana's real business. With Miami winning the way they won, what's that say about the whole thing with Notre Dame getting pushed out and everything? Do you think Notre Dame would have won the same way? Do you think they would have dominated? Do you think they would have been in this position right now if they were in the playoffs? Just wondering that. Appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, JJ. I'll tell you this right off the bat. I think Notre Dame would have taken care of either of the group of 5 teams. I think they'd have beaten Texas Tech. I think they would have beaten Alabama. I think that they are better than at least half the field. At the very least.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting debate because a lot of the conversation came down to Notre Dame or Miami, and Miami obviously advances in the college football playoff and did so in very impressive fashion over Ohio State. So I do see what JJ is saying, and thanks for the call and the shout out to our other programs as well. But ultimately, I have to think that there will be a world going forward where we have to make sure we get the best teams in. And I'm not saying this is some, college football guru, but to your point, Jeff, I do think that the best 12 teams probably weren't in it. I get that the group of 5 teams earned it because of the automatic bid and being a certain ranking in the standings, but I do think after seeing a 3-loss Alabama team get in, there have to be conversations going forward about letting other 3-loss teams into the playoffs because, to me, that's probably what it came down to, in my opinion, more so than the Notre Dame or Miami debate. It's why are we letting a 3-loss team into it? So, interesting dialogue, and we'll certainly have that dialogue next year. But for this year, this new year, we're focusing on IU, baby. And shout out to JJ for being a fan of all Indiana's teams when they get into the dance. That's rare.
Team player.
Yeah.
Like Kurt
respect
Signetti
it.
preaches, right? He's
Right,
a team
exactly.
player.
Let's go talk to Andrew next at 239-1070. Andrew, your turn here on the Fan Morning Show.
Hey, so I think I'm more concerned if we get past Oregon about both Miami and Ole Miss after watching Chambliss last night. He was unsackable. And Miami D-line, I think they'll pressure Mendoza. The only thing I'm scared about with Oregon is that freshman corner Finney. Will have to keep the ball away from him. Which Kevin was on, so I could give him some crap about Notre Dame.
Oh, he'll be here Monday. He'll be here Monday.
If they would just not think they were better than everyone and join a conference, they wouldn't have any issues.
This is true.
Oh, the committee made that very clear. The reason they got passed over is the committee was saying join a conference.
I grew up in Michigan. Dealt with this crap my whole life. I hate dealing with the Notre Dame fans. It is nauseating. So that's my opinion on them. Thanks, guys.
Hey, appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much.
Shout out to Andrew, man. Taking a shot at KB when he isn't here. That's how you do it.
But at least he said, I wish KB was there.
You kick a man while he's down, okay? All that, being a good sport. Nope, you kick him while they're down. And to his point about Notre Dame, again, I do think it's always going to be a debate with them about should they join a conference. They probably won't because they're such an iconic brand nationally, and it's worked well for them, I would think, over the years. But getting back to the point about IU, yeah, it does concern me a bit facing Oregon. I do think Oregon is a very good team, and they have a chance to beat IU. I don't look at this as a matchup where I'm like, IU's just going to go in there and I have no worries at all. But to his other points about the other matchups, you get past Oregon, man. Well, honestly, at this point in the season, you probably get past anybody, and you're feeling good about your chances. But, yeah, I think Oregon is a real test as opposed to perhaps the other semifinals we're looking at in the bracket.
Oregon is licking their chops at a chance to get back at Indiana. That they can't wait to do that.
I think they're a fairly complete team when you look at what they do on both sides of the ball as well. I don't want to dismiss the fact that they shut out a team in the college football playoff. That is very hard to do.
One thing he mentioned, too, he was talking about the quarterback at Ole Miss, and yeah, it's tough to get a hold of him. But I was surprised at how often that defensive front for Ole Miss was trapping Georgia in the backfield. There were a couple of times Georgia escaped, got a nice little pass play when Stockton got loose from somebody. There was another running back that there was a missed tackle about 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. But Ole Miss was in their backfield all day long, James.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much more praise I can give to that program, what they've done, and the ride that they've taken us all on. So from that respect, I have to feel pretty good about where we are in this new college football landscape, man. And the best part about our job is that we get to just sit here and watch and talk about it.
All right. We'll also be talking about the final game of the regular season, the final game of the year for the Indianapolis Colts. They'll be playing the Texans on Sunday. The play-by-play voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, stops by with Taylor's Tidbits and more next at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
And the Colts losing skid now has reached 6 games.
You have exhausted everything. And you've even seen the good. You saw a 2-month run of the good that came to fruition that failed miserably. There's not any Band-Aids or any patches that will do a damn bit of good until you change everything up.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 till 6.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome to Wawa. We're open 24/7, so when the sun goes down but everyone's still up, Wawa has your late night fuel. Headed to a hangout? Stop in for snacks and sodas. Binge your favorite shows with burgers and hoagies. Gather around the table with garlic knots and a cheesy Wawa pizza. Or just chill on the couch with fries and whatever milkshake sounds good. Your night just got a whole lot tastier. Freshly made burgers, pizza, and so much more. When you got a late night craving, you got a Wawa. Price and participation may vary by store.
Indiana Tech gave these grads more than just a degree. It gave them a future.
I earned a master's degree in organizational leadership and the opportunity to serve others.
I earned a degree that helped me get promoted at a great company and become the first college graduate in my family.
I earned an engineering degree that taught me to succeed in technical roles and in life.
I got the chance to work for a professional sports team with a winning experience thanks to flexible online classes.
With personalized support to help you succeed, over 100 high-quality career-focused certificates and degrees in in-demand fields like business, healthcare, criminal justice, information technology, cybersecurity, and more. Indiana Tech doesn't just give you a degree, it gives you the opportunity of a lifetime. Learn more about what Indiana Tech can do for your future at online.indianatech.edu.
Registration for the next class session ends January 9th.
Bowling, 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 keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, 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 Royal Pin.
Looking for fun the whole family will love? Head to Royal Pin Entertainment, Indy's home for non-stop fun. Bowl your heart out with family and friends on the modern lanes. Challenge your friends to an epic battle of laser tag or a more casual round of mini golf. Dive into the expansive arcade filled with classic and cutting-edge games. Royal Pin has something for everyone. Kids stay entertained, parents kick back in style, and everyone leaves smiling. With multiple locations around Indianapolis, your next family night out is closer than you think. Plan your visit at royalpin.com.
Set them up, knock them down, send them flying, spinning round.
Royal Pin Entertainment, where Indy comes to play.
Royal Pin, bowling, bowling, Royal Pin, bowling.
If you're feeling off your game, low T could be the cause. Your local Game Day Men's Health can help. Our licensed medical team offers fast in-house testing with results on your first visit. We're leaders in testosterone therapy, erectile dysfunction, and peptide therapies, and we'll build a personalized plan to help you get back in the game. Start today at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Search online for your nearest Game Day Men's Health location to schedule an appointment, where every day is game day.
With Wawa's Rewards program, you can rack up points on the items you buy every day, even fuel. Boost your totals with a breakfast sizzly. Score points with your morning coffee. With Wawa Rewards, points put the power in your hands. You can choose to redeem them for what you love most, like an iced latte for an extra pick-me-up or your lunchtime hoagie. Download the Wawa app today. When you gotta get rewarded, you gotta Wawa. Fuel rewards not available in New Jersey or were legally prohibited. See full details at wawarewards.com. Price of participation may vary by store.
Getting more as a MyLowe's Pro Rewards member is easier than ever with the Lowe's app. Download it today and earn 500 points the first time you log in. Plus, your digital wallet helps you scan, save, earn, and access what you need to manage it all in one place. Download the Lowe's app and take advantage of your Pro benefits today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid 12/1/25 through 1/7/26. Offer valid for first login per organization only. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
From the DriveHubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WIBC HD2, HD3, Indianapolis. The Pacers are home to take on the San Antonio Spurs this evening at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This is The Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
You keep setting a new standard for the greatest moment in Indiana history. First, it was winning a game like Oregon on the road. Then it was beating Ohio State for the Big Ten championship. Now it's winning the Rose Bowl. How would you describe the turnaround and what you've been able to build in a short period of time?
The hell of a movie.
3rd down and 8. Kalon Black is back in the lineup. Here's the snap back to Fernando. Has time, rolling over the middle. He's got Becker. Oh, what a catch! Charlie Becker! Touchdown, Indiana! Tremendous throw by Fernando Mendoza, but what a catch by Becker! Here's the snap. Fakes the handoff. Looks to throw it. Does throw the end zone. Touchdown! Hemby in the backfield now with Fernando Mendoza. Takes the snap. Fernando looks left, fires it down the field. He's got Surratt. Touchdown! What a perfect throw by Fernando. 24 yards, and Indiana scores again. And Fernando puts the man behind him. That is Black. Here's the snap. Handoff goes to Kalon. Fights his way through it, and he breaks the tackle. Down to the 5. Oh, what a run! Touchdown! What a program. What a turnaround for Indiana football. Final score, Indiana 38, Alabama 3.
But I only have one thing to say.
A lot of fun yesterday. Indiana with a, just say it again, a beatdown of the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll talk more about that throughout the rest of the hour. We'll take your thoughts via text or a phone call at 239-1070. But, James, the other thing on the docket, one more game remaining on the schedule for the Indianapolis Colts as they play the Texans on Sunday. If nothing else, try to play spoiler a little bit, right?
Well, as we go to the Pale Sugars hotline and talk to Mayte, we can't just gloss over the fact that Matt Taylor is indeed an IU fan. So, Matt Taylor, how you feeling this morning?
Good morning.
Oh, man, Cloud 9, fellas. That montage was something epic, almost as epic as the game itself. But, yeah, my dad and brother are out there, and they are, they're sending me texts and pictures the whole time. It's just excruciating not being out there with them. There was too much going on back here with the final game of the season. But I can tell you they're already scheming and planning, trying to get themselves down to Atlanta. And, heck, maybe I join them if we can figure it out. But, yeah, I mean, they said they were running into so many people out there that they knew, that they recognized, and so many, diehard IU football fans over the years that, made that pilgrimage out there. My dad's cell phone died like 3 times. He had a charger just because he's getting, so many texts and he's trying to send so many pictures and stuff like that just because of how unbelievable the whole thing is. I mean, just say it out loud. Indiana University is 25-2 the last 2 years, and they've made the college football playoff in both seasons. And they won the freaking Rose Bowl, and they won it by beating Alabama 38-3. Like, just say those things out loud. If you would have done that 2 years ago, it would have been like all in jest, like, haha, I'm going to go play, EA Sports college football on a video game and see if I can get IU to my dynasty league, winning the Rose Bowl, haha. Like, no, this is reality, fellas. You know what I mean? Like, this is not Biff Tannen's alternate universe in 1985 when he steals the sports almanac. This is really happening. It's unbelievable.
So let me ask you this, Matt. Same thing I asked Greg Rakestraw, who's grown up in Indiana his entire life. When it was when that touchdown yesterday goes from Mendoza to Surratt, and they're up 24-0. As a lifelong Hoosier fan, like, what are you thinking in that moment?
I'm just, I've had many moments. I mean, that sequence right there just continues to solidify like everything I've thought about IU football since this change in regime happened. Like, I'm not yet used to the domination. They've won whatever it is, like 4 games this year by 50 points. I'm not used to that yet. Like, I can't just sit back and expect them to kick the tail out of these unbelievably tradition-filled programs like Ohio State and Alabama. Like, I'm still used to, James and Jeff, I'm still used to like throwing my remote in the middle of the street after they have a false start penalty against Rutgers that drops their record down to 5-7 and can't win a bowl, can't get to a bowl game. Like, that's the IU universe that I grew up in. And so I'm always just kind of in the back of my head waiting for the other shoe to drop and waiting for them to beat themselves. But under Curt Signetti, they don't do that. They don't come close to doing that. Like, I'm still not used to just precision execution and not beating yourself, not having any sort of complacency. I mean, the guy, I know you guys know this, but he talks openly about stalking out complacency. Just the way he talks, the way he speaks. It's not just football. There's a lot of like life lessons you can get out of just how to have success in whatever field you're in just by listening to Curt Signetti, not to sound like too pie in the sky. But I mean, if you're having trouble sort of like reaching goals and you want to become a better version of yourself, not to sound too prophetic, but go listen to Curt Signetti just talk about how he attacks daily life and trying to get better and wanting to, put your best foot forward and wanting to, just be a better, version of yourself, a better version of the team each and every day, because it's sort of true. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. And there's a lot of life lessons from watching this IU football team, not to get too weird on you, but that's where I'm at with it.
I know we got to get to Taylor's tidbits, but one thing I do want to play here, Mayte, is the question you asked Phillip Rivers, who actually was coached by Curt Signetti back in the day at NC State, about what he will cherish as he ends one chapter and the Colts usher in probably a new era here in a couple of days.
What are going to be some of your more fonder memories of the last month?
Obviously the games are exciting. Being out there in the action again. The practices, really. I mean, Wednesday practice. That first Wednesday practice, I was like, dang, I forgot how awesome this was. Just being out there and practicing with the guys, the meetings, the preps, the blitz meetings, all that comes along with it. And shoot, when I was a little kid. I thought I was through with all the emotions, but I think I am for the most part. But when I was real young, I used to ask my mom and dad to introduce me. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm coming out. I'm playing. We're playing such and such. I had all these. I was dressed up and whatever, and so I'd come running through the kitchen, high-fiving them. So to have that memory last Sunday was awesome. Getting to come out one last time. So there's a lot of them, but those are the first things that pop in my mind.
That sentiment right there, Mayte, is the reason why I think, even though I know from my perspective, this game doesn't matter, I got to look at the big picture questions, something tell me it still kind of matters a little bit, and the Colts are obviously going to go out there and try to win.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the reasons why I felt compelled to ask that question, I mean, you knew that, Sunday he probably wasn't going to start, and he's not. And Sunday's probably going to be his last game in the NFL, which I think it is. I think he's actually on record saying that. And so one of the things, I mean, I never played in the NFL. I never even came close to playing in the NFL, but I did play. And I have this recurring dream. I don't know if this is going to sound corny or not. Probably so. But I have this still to this day. I have this recurring dream that I'm either in my high school locker room or I'm in my college locker room, football locker room, getting ready to go play. And for some weird circumstance, the team needs me to come out of retirement, or, I have one game of eligibility left for some reason in my dream, and they need me to come start and, save the day and be part of the defense. But I can't find my pads. Right. I'm in the locker room. I'm all dressed. I've got my pants on, but I can't find my helmet and I can't find my shoulder pads. And I never get to go out to play because I can't find them. I have that dream probably, I don't know, half a dozen times a year. I swear to God. And that made me compelled to ask Phillip Rivers, like, you actually got to do that. You actually got to come out of retirement and play and put on the pads and experience what it's like to be inside a locker room again, and just all the camaraderie that comes with it. I wasn't asking that question more from I was asking it more from like a personal side of things rather than a football side of things. But, I think he did get emotional there talking about, just being able to experience the brotherhood of a locker room and, being there with some of your best friends and going through the grind together with some of your teammates and then running out on the field, going from the tunnel to the field, when you got 65,000 people. And, he actually said something later this week, that was actually his first time being able to play in front of fans since 2019, right? Because, he didn't play in front of fans at Lucas Oil Stadium at all in 2020, but he didn't play in front of a packed house anywhere in 2020. So it was just really cool for him to be able to experience that one final time and do it, for a franchise that he respects, a guy that he loves in Shane Steichen, and to be able to go, live out those childhood dreams of running in his kitchen, high-fiving mom and dad, but doing it at a bigger scale with his teammates. It was just a cool answer and kind of the background as to why I asked him that question.
Matt Taylor is the voice of the Indianapolis Colts, and every week he gets us ready to go for the upcoming game with a few things that we had never even thought about, didn't see coming, and will be relevant to everything that happens on Sunday. Mayte, go for it after this.
All right, let's talk about the tale of three cities, the three cities in the AFC South, and how those dynamics have changed the complexity of the last game of the season. So after Week 10, we all know, Week 10 in Germany against the Falcons, Colts are riding high. They're 8-2 at that point. The Colts led the AFC South, but the Jaguars were 5-4, and the Texans were 4-5. And raise your hand if you're thinking, all right, this is going to be the Colts on cruise control to an AFC South championship for the first time since 2014. But since then, the Colts have lost 6 straight games. The Jaguars and Texans have combined to win 15 straight games. And we know the Colts, unfortunately, just the 6th team ever to miss the playoffs after a 7-1 start. But a loss on Sunday would make even more history, unfortunately. That's why I think it's important for them to go out and win. If the Colts lose to the Texans on Sunday, they become the first team in NFL history to win 7 of their first 8 games and then finish the season with a losing record. So, again, that's why it matters. A world of difference between 8-9 and 9-8. If you're a player, if you're a coach, you're right, despite the playoffs not being on the table heading into Week 18, you got to fight your tail off. All right, let's talk about Riley Leonard, his first start. Knowing the importance of quarterback development for Riley Leonard, potentially needing him early next season. You've got the uncertainty of the backup quarterback of the future. The Colts are going to go with their rookie in Week 18. Daniel Jones may not be first he's got to re-sign with the Colts, but even then he may not be ready to go by Week 1. So Leonard entered the season as the Colts' 3rd quarterback behind Jones and Richardson. His last start came against Ohio State last year in the college football national championship game, I should say. But he becomes just the 13th Colts rookie quarterback to start in franchise history. He'll be the first since Anthony Richardson, obviously, in 2023. Colts rookies are 3-9 in their first career starts. The last one to win his debut, Chris Chandler, all the way back in 1988. And anecdotally, he's going to be the 6th Notre Dame rookie to start an NFL game. The last Notre Dame rookie to win an NFL start at quarterback was Jimmy Clausen, who beat the Cardinals 19-12 back in 2010 as a member of the Carolina Panthers. Also, how about this when it relates to Riley Leonard? He is exactly 20 years and 279 days younger than Phillip Rivers. That is the largest age gap between a team's starting quarterback in consecutive games since 1950. And again, his first start in the NFL is going to be against the NFL's #1 scoring and total defense. 5 previous quarterbacks made their first career start against the NFL's top scoring and total defense entering Week 4 or later since the 1970 merger. And those 5 quarterbacks, unfortunately, went 0-5, and they led their teams to only 13 points per game. There were 4 passing touchdowns to 12 interceptions combined. All right, then the last one here, I want to talk about the Texans' offense, right? The defense for Houston, they get a lot of love, and rightfully so. But let's talk about their timely offense. They're not going to blow you away with their overall offensive output, but their offense, they just make big plays when it matters. And that's why I use the word timely, because they're only averaging 21 points per game, which is the fewest by a team with a winning record this season. They've only got 31 offensive touchdowns. That's the fewest by any team with at least 11 wins since the 2014 season. And they've also scored touchdowns on just 45% of the red zone drives this year. That ranks 30th in the NFL. But their defense is so good that it helps keep the offense in games, and it gives them, the ability to make those timely plays and give them more opportunities when the game is on the line. And just doing some digging, the Texans' magic number is 20. They've won 14 straight games when they scored 20-plus points dating back to last year, including the playoffs. And this year they are 10-0 when they score at least 20 points. And they are the only team in the NFL to not lose a game when their offense reaches at least 20 points. So that's all they need, right? Despite the up and down nature of the offense, that defense is that good that lets them just keep hanging around and win close games. In fact, Houston is 6-0 in their last 6 one-score games after they started the season 0-5 in close contests.
Always great stuff, Matt Taylor. You have been a busy, busy man. Now, I hope you weren't digging all that stuff up during the Indiana game yesterday. You were 100% solely focused on that game, right?
Well, this was all stuff that was dug up earlier. But, yeah, I mean, it was like around 11:30 after I was coming down from that high from the IU game where I kind of put it all together. So anything for you guys.
Hey, one other quick thing. I know you talked about the history of quarterbacks and the position that Riley Leonard finds himself in on Sunday. What do you think he's capable of doing on Sunday? What's your gut feeling on what he's able to do?
You know, I think he's going to be able to do a lot more than people think, to be honest with you, because he's been that dedicated to, being part of this offense. You know, first guy in, last guy out. We're very much in the hip pocket of Daniel Jones, or in this case, in the last 3 weeks, Phillip Rivers. And that's something I asked Shane Steichen after that Jacksonville game about a month ago. I said, what are some of his limitations in terms of what you can call? And he said, not much. I mean, there's everything that we can put on his plate we have, because he's pretty smart. He's got a high football IQ. I mean, obviously, going to school at Duke and Notre Dame and playing quarterback at those institutions, you got to be pretty adept. And so, from an IQ standpoint and from a playbook standpoint, everything's there. I think, obviously, the limitations in his game right now physically, he's got to find that, Sunday, pinpoint accuracy that he's still striving for. And I think he would probably tell you that too. But he's definitely going to add some more mobility within the offense at the quarterback position. And perhaps, at least on paper, that unlocks, some more efficient runs out of Jonathan Taylor, just because the Texans, with those 2 defensive ends and Hunter and Anderson, they're going to have to at least respect the possibility of a quarterback run, a read zone or a zone read, or I should say a read option out of the legs of Riley Leonard. So, we'll see. But, I think the Colts are going to be hypothetically able to push the ball outside the numbers and vertically a little bit more. Maybe a bigger game for Pierce, who didn't have a catch last week against in the last game, against Jacksonville. So we'll see. But I think from a unloading of the playbook, if you will, on Riley Leonard, everything's going to be right there for him, because he's a pretty smart guy that's just been dedicated to getting better all season long, both on the field and the meeting rooms for the Colts inside that quarterback position.
All right, buddy. Always good to talk to you. Have a great game on Sunday, and we'll recap the whole season with you sometime next week, okay?
All right, guys. I look forward to it. Thanks, as always, for everything all year, and it's been fun. One final ride on Sunday.
Thank you very much, Matt. We appreciate you being here on the Payless Liquors Hotline, and I will tell you this. That is a hard-working young man. I mean, he works his tail off getting ready for these games. Always
young?
has.
Oh, he is. I guess he's relatively young. Shout out to Mayte.
Everybody's relatively young to me these days.
Yeah, that's probably true, too.
Let's be honest. All right, Caleb, let's check it down and get you ready to go for the weekend. Yes, we will start with the Rose Bowl. Yesterday, New Year's Day, Indiana dominating from start to finish over the Alabama Crimson Tide 38-3. I guess I can't say start to finish because they had that kind of wonky first series, but after that they settled down and got going.
Yeah, I mean, from 97% of the game to the finish.
It was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then 38 points in 3 quarters against Alabama. 38-3 the final score. Fernando Mendoza, 14-16 to 192 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kalen Black had 99 yards rushing and a touchdown. Receiving, Charlie Becker caught a touchdown pass. Omar Cooper caught a touchdown pass. Elijah Surratt caught a touchdown pass. And I can't leave out the running game. Roman Hemby, 18 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. All in all, the total yardage, 410 for Indiana, only 193, only 23 yards rushing for Alabama. That is domination, James.
They're the number 1 team in the country for a very obvious reason.
How about this? This is my favorite stat. I've been waiting to drop this one all day long. Fernando Mendoza against the Alabama Blitz yesterday 8 for 8 for 161 yards, all 3 touchdown passes. That's the first quarterback to do that against Alabama against the blitz since Johnny Manziel did it back in 2013 when he also threw 3 touchdowns against the Alabama blitz.
Not too shabby.
Man, oh man, oh man. They get ready now for a semifinal game at the Peach Bowl next Friday night. They'll be taking on Oregon, a rematch of the regular season game in which Indiana won at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, 30-20. The other semifinal game will feature Miami against Ole Miss. That'll come your way Thursday night from the Fiesta Bowl. Both those games start at 7:30 p.m. on their respective evenings because yesterday Oregon shut out Texas Tech 23-0, and Ole Miss beat Georgia 39-34. They even had that weird safety to end the game. Did you see that?
Yeah, someone was probably mad about a bet being lost on that.
I can only hope, right? I don't know why. If there's going to be a bad beat, Caleb, you want to see it on
You're hoping for people to lose money around here, or what?
Well, no, because it's a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
For everybody who lost money on that, people won money on that.
That is true. That is true.
So anyway, that was a weird day yesterday. Later on tonight, the Indiana Pacers return to the Fieldhouse. They'll take on the Spurs. 7 p.m. tip, 6:30 airtime here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Trying to snap this horrendous 10-game losing streak. Spurs will be playing without Victor Wembanyama, out with a left knee soreness, they're calling it, for tonight. And again, I thought they might have had that game against Orlando the other night. They lose it 112-110, but as Rick said after the game, difference was they gave up 68 points in the first half and only 44 points in the second half. And he said, man, if we could have just done that for 4 quarters, they'd have won that basketball game.
Rick Carlisle still stuck on win number 999. Will 1,000 come finally today?
That would be nice to see. Again, that one starts at 7 p.m. Airtime 6:30 here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Colts at Texans. We just heard about that from Matt Taylor. They'll play Sunday afternoon at 1. Riley Leonard will be starting at quarterback for the Colts. And what will Carly Ursay-Gordon be thinking during that game? And what will the future be for all kinds of players, for Chris Ballard, for Shane Steichen? We'll wait and see what she thinks about all that in the hours following that game. I'll ask you the same thing I asked Matt Taylor a moment ago. What do you think is the likely day for Riley Leonard against the Texans, a really good defensive football team that's playing for their playoff lives?
The Colts lose by double digits, and Riley Leonard has a very bad NFL start, his first NFL start.
Well, I think you and I were talking off the air a little while ago before the show started about a good game for him would look like something like maybe 205 yards passing with 2 touchdowns and maybe 50 yards rushing. That's about what would be a great game for him, right?
That'd be a great game for him.
I would sign up for that.
Yeah, I think a good game for him would be to not turn the ball over and score at least 1 touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. We know he's a terrifically athletic kid. We know that he's a really smart guy. My question's always been, can he throw the football at an NFL level consistently?
He looked good in the Jacksonville game when he filled in for Daniel Jones, so we'll see what's in store come Sunday in the season finale.
All right, college basketball coming your way this weekend. Tonight, Notre Dame will play at Cal. That one won't start till 11 p.m., but you can watch it on ESPN2. Tomorrow, Butler will host Villanova over at Hinkle. That one starts at noon. You can watch it on TNT or listen to it live right here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. And then number 5, Purdue will travel to Wisconsin for an 8 p.m. game tomorrow night. You can watch that one on Fox TV. So it's that magical time of year, all kinds of meaningful football games and pretty good basketball games coming up too. Looking forward to all of it. Anything else you want to throw in before we head to break here?
That's all I got.
All right. Coming up in a moment, more of your comments, feedback, 239-1070. You can call us up. You can also text us. And, James, you and I have to figure out our best, worst, most entertaining games of the upcoming NFL weekend. So we'll do that for you. Caleb, we'll let you get involved in that one, too. You got your picks ready to go?
I will have them ready.
93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try
try this.
Stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Stop smoking with hypnosis guaranteed with no irritability and no cravings. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Hypnosis programs are Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss hypnosis at 5:30. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Or Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis at 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football. It's a pepper thing.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Ride with JMV.
Stephen Holder of ESPN at ESPN.com joins us. So what about Alec Pierce and his future in Indy after the season?
You just need one team to say, that's the guy we need. And I think his skill set for a contending team would be extremely attractive. Pierce really is a Daniel Jones guy. And I think it'll be a complicated decision for him because of that. And just because he likes Indy.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 to 6.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah. I get my from California. That's that. I took my chick up to the north, yeah. I get my light right from the source, yeah. Yeah, that's it. And I see you. The way I breathe you in. It's the texture of your skin.
You got it going on today, Caleb. Good job out of you, man.
Peaches out in Georgia. That's what Indiana's saying.
There we go.
Next week.
See, you're learning well from the master, Mark Dykton. Nice job out of you.
That's right. He'll be back on Monday.
James, I was telling you during the break, one of my biggest wins of the weekend is I've been going back and forth with the New York Times for like 3.5 weeks now. Somehow I got locked out of my account at The Athletic, and I've just been going through withdrawals because one of the first things I do when I wake up in the morning is I go to the Star and The Athletic, and I just want to see what people are writing and talking about, whatever. And finally, out of nowhere, nothing's changed. I tried to log in every morning, and then I'd send an email to the New York Times saying it still doesn't work. And they're like, well, we can't figure it out why. All of a sudden yesterday, success, James. I'm back in.
Who'd you talk to, James? With
Yeah,
your people
did you
at The
get something
Athletic?
done? Did you pull some strings? What was going on over there?
I pulled no strings.
I like to think that James
got
is
it done
like,
on your own.
keep him away from my stuff is
No,
what I think
actually put out a
happened.
piece this morning. I would encourage you all to check it out after the show. 5 questions for Carly Ursay-Gordon to ponder ahead of a very pivotal Colts offseason. A couple of those questions you can probably predict. One of them, the first one, is about Chris Ballard. So does he stay? Does he go? What's the resume in total? Yeah, basically. Can he get a 10th life? He's got 9 lives so far, like a cat.
All right. Caleb, you ready to rock and roll for predictions for this coming up weekend in the National Football League?
Let's do it.
All right. All right, Caleb, I'm going to let you get started today. We're going to start with the toughest game to figure out, the one that you think is going to could go either way on the schedule this week.
I think this is the best Week 18 we've had in a little bit. I am struggling to find out who will win Seahawks 49ers tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on ESPN. I'm going to lean Niners, but, man, it feels like the Seahawks have been good all year. But I do think the Niners are playing better right now.
That's a good one. James?
I'll go Panthers-Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are 3-point favorites. However, they've been reeling as of late. And I believe the way it kind of works here is if the Panthers win this game, they win the division and they're into the playoffs. And wouldn't that be something for the Bryce Young redemption arc?
How about Dave Canales in his second year as head coach getting the Panthers from where they were into the postseason?
That'd be something special.
That'd be crazy. I'm going to go with Old Man Rodgers and one of my favorite players, Lamar Jackson. The Ravens and the Steelers Sunday at 8:20. It'll be the last game of the season. It's a big, big winner-take-all game, and it might be the last time we ever see Aaron Rodgers. But again, I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan. Some of the questions people ask about him are ridiculous to me. There isn't a team that wouldn't take him, is there? Not named Kansas City or something.
I was going to say it's only about a handful of them, maybe 4, that wouldn't take Lamar Jackson. Certainly here in these circumstances.
Yeah, that's going to be, to me, the best game of the week. And I actually think the Ravens are going to win that. They are 3.5-point underdogs on the road. So we'll see what happens. All right, what do we have next, Caleb?
Most entertaining? Is that right?
Yep, most entertaining game.
I'm going to go the Panthers-Buccaneers because I do think when you have these types of games between two teams that are, as Jeff said yesterday or 2 days ago, mid, when you have two teams like this battling for a playoff spot, I think it could be fun. Some weird stuff might happen. I'm here for it. I think it'll be fun tomorrow.
All right, you, James?
I'm going to roll with the Ravens and the Steelers. I do enjoy watching Lamar Jackson play football. I don't know too many people who don't like watching him. And if they win, they get in. And that will be remarkable considering they started 1-5 this year.
All right, I'm going to go with a team trying to be the number 1 seed in the AFC, the Broncos, taking on the Chargers. That one's a 4:25 game. If the Broncos win, they have the number 1 seed overall in the AFC. I do think that that's going to be a really entertaining game. Broncos are 12.5-point favorites, but the Chargers always seem to play them really well. Speaking of divisional games, though, I didn't know this. I was researching all these games the other day. Do you know that Sean Payton has beaten Andy Reid 3 of the last 4 times those two teams have played?
That is crazy.
He's turned things around in Denver there. And I don't know how much of that is Kansas City has kind of regressed, which we've seen, or the Broncos. I still, they're 13-3. They could be 14-3, and I still don't know how good they are, James. Isn't that crazy?
Point. Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, and one other to pick, Caleb. What do we have?
Yeah, we have
toughest
game here. And I tell you what, when you get to Week 18, that is, or wait, no, we already did toughest. Is that right?
Easiest, I'm sorry.
Easiest, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, tripping here.
Getting excited over there.
Yeah, so easiest game, and these spreads are tough. And again, we don't know who's going to play in some of these games. Are some of these playoff teams going to rest people? Right now, as it stands, the line is 6.5 for Buffalo hosting the Jets. I'm going to say that's the easiest, but who knows how much Josh Allen will play in that game. It's the last game at the Buffalo Bills Highmark Stadium. So I'm going to go with that one, but that could change based on who plays.
I'll roll with the Patriots and Dolphins. The Patriots are 10.5-point favorites. I don't think that they're going to lose this game, but Miami can put up some points. And I feel like in the NFL, whenever I see a double-digit line, I'm like, that's a little weird. It's still the NFL. It's the best players in the world. So I think that Miami can give them a little bit more of a game.
I would have picked that, but I'm going to take an opportunity to hammer one of our compadres here. Where's Mark Dykton? Get him on the phone. I know the Bears are at home. I know they're 11-5. I know they're 3-point favorites. I think the Lions are going to rock them this Sunday. How about that? Clip that and send that to Mark for me, would you?
I will for sure let him know, and maybe he can hold you accountable Monday morning.
We'll see.
Other than that, though, probably the easiest one, I do think the Jaguars are just going to destroy the Tennessee Titans for real. That's truly my pick. I wanted to give Mark some
13.5? You like that number?
I like that number. Give me 20.5 in that one.
Okay.
Jaguars are on a roll. What are the Titans doing? And the Jags are playing at home, too.
Yeah.
In fact, Jacksonville, you could make the case that they're playing the best of any AFC football team right now.
That is a good argument you can make.
All right. Anything else you want to throw in about the final weekend of regular season play in the NFL, boys?
I just want to say I think it's pretty exciting, man. Like, it's not every year you get Week 18s that truly have every window of games mattering. So I'm excited for it. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to see who's going to be playing and not playing in some of these games, because this is the last weekend of true regulars. I mean, you get some in the first round of the playoffs, but I'm a big fan of the daily fantasy, like on FanDuel and stuff like that, and putting together full rosters and things. I have had a very since you brought that up, Caleb, I've had a very mid year. Usually I do really well in daily fantasy. It's been very mid for me this year. Not really made any money.
Well, that's better than losing money.
I'm probably like $20 in the hole.
Okay. I don't know how much you're laying down each Sunday, but I mean, you'll take that.
I'll usually put like 3 or 4 lineups and spread it across different entry fees, and I'm probably good for about $25 to $30 a week.
All right.
As far as entry fees are concerned, I'm probably down about $20 this year, and usually I make a little bit of money, and not this year.
Well, let's hope you can end up in the positive after this weekend.
I got shut out completely last week, as a matter of fact. It's crazy. I blame you guys.
Call that number, Jeff. Call that number.
Hotline.
All right, that's what's going on as far as getting ready for the regular season. We'll talk about our predictions for the Colts and what they're going to do this coming weekend. It is a very interesting weekend, and I am fascinated now to read your article on The Athletic about the 5 questions for Carly Ursay-Gordon, because I guess the one question I would have, James, how much does this particular game even mean to what her decisions are going to be?
Personally, I don't think it should mean anything. You already are out of the playoffs. I still look at this as a losing season, regardless of if you finish 9-8 or 8-8 or 8-9. I'm sorry, I can't do math this morning. But nevertheless, yeah, this will be a very interesting next few days for this franchise, because whether you make changes, you don't make changes, one person stays, one person goes, I think a lot of us will still have a lot of opinions and reactions to give. And luckily, we do radio, so we'll have a chance to talk all about it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to next week. Like I said, one way or the other. But, man, I'll be honest with you. Right now, I lean just trying to read tea leaves. It feels like she'll look at all the injuries that happened this year and all the crazy things they tried to do to dig themselves out of this and the big swings for the fences. I think she says, we're going to get everybody healthy. I'm going to give it one more shot. That's how it feels like it's trending to me.
Yeah, I know we got to hit a break here, but certainly we can get into that debate here on the other side.
All right, we'll talk about that a little bit more and give our prediction for the game on Sunday. Next, it's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It's a new season with a new QB.
Football is back.
And so are Bud Light Blue Fridays. Every week, join JMV starting at 3 for ice cold Bud Light specials, football talk, and chances for you to snag tickets to Colts games and get some amazing swag on us. And get in on the football toss for a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas for your shot at Super Bowl tickets. This afternoon, join JMV at Ralston's Draft House on Mass Ave. Bud Light Blue Fridays.
JMV here. If I want to, I can. Parted down the middle, feathered on the side, Thanks to WeGrowHairIndy.com. Back in the 1980s, that's how I did it. We called it the Alford. Today, thanks to WeGrowHairIndy.com or 317-522-2995, I got my hair back, and I can do it all over again. The hair that I want, the hair that I got. Thanks to WeGrowHairIndy. 317-522-2995. Ask for Darren Andrews at WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through January 4th, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
Memorial Day savings are here at the Home Depot. So take your kitchen to the next level with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like LG. Plan your get-togethers with an LG refrigerator you can count on for years to come at the Home Depot. And with the connected ThinQ app, you'll know if the door is left open and when to change the filter. Spend less time worrying this Memorial Day with savings on LG, America's most reliable appliance brand at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 4th, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
For BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink. Before each Colts home game, make your game day experience the best it can be. Entertained inside the Bullseye Event Center and the great food from celebrity chef Kelsey Murphy. That and more, and combo up your passes with tickets to the game. That's the BullseyeEventGroup.com Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Get your passes now. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
If you're on the go, the Fan's on the go. You can listen anywhere streaming at 1075thefan.com or download the Fan app in the App Store or Google Play Store. Listen anywhere in the world, from Indianapolis to Indonesia. Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on the Fan.
One more time, James Boyd. And then the week comes to a close. It is already 2026, but everybody will be back together. Caleb, great job filling in for Mark Dykman in his never-ending vacation days that he had here at the end of the year. Good job out of you.
You guys know I always love this, man. It's been a blast. I appreciate you guys, the audience, welcoming me in, despite them getting mad at me for my take about the Colts mascot blue, which is still something I'm thinking about from earlier in the week. But, yeah, love everybody, and just love being here. So thank you for the opportunity.
He's got beef with blue.
It's been a lot of fun. Nobody can have beef with blue. Come on.
All I said, I love blue.
You got a pie coming, I think, is what you got.
That's my
I probably
do.
Beef.
I probably do because that's all he does to everybody. All I was asking
that's his thing.
Is that he gets a new shtick in 2026, but that seemed to ruffle some feathers.
It hasn't gotten old yet, though.
It has to me.
Mr. Ohio State.
No, yeah, that's the one up you have on me, Jeff. That right there.
Jim D taking a little shot this morning on the text line.
I will say, is this
talking about the Colts?
Reading?
Hey, moving forward with Phillip Rivers, only if only Jeff Saturday could have coached up Rivers. Shots all over the place there.
The two weirdest things that have happened when I've been on the beat combined into one, and so that guy wants my life to be a nightmare always, and so I will take a pass on that proposition. I will say, for this weekend, regardless of what happens against the Houston Texans, huge decisions await, and my position on whatever decisions that Carly Ursay-Gordon and her sisters make, it will probably behoove her, given it's her first off season, and look, I'm not acting like she has been around the program for decades, but can you just explain them to the public? If you move on, obviously that would warrant some sort of press coverage, some sort of announcement, or some sit down with the media. But if you don't, and most owners don't talk to the media if nothing changes, given how this season has gone and how the last pretty much decade has gone under Ballard, I think it would be at least worth explaining why he is still here.
It is going to be fascinating, and you can go check out your column in The Athletic that you just posted this morning, right?
Yes, I was writing that the other day and trying to get ready for what should be an interesting next couple of days just to sort of prepare for. And also just to kind of give you all the rundown. So the way it works is we will have the season finale come Sunday in Houston. Then we have exit meetings Monday morning. I'll be flying back Saturday night Sunday night for that. So Monday we'll speak to all the players. And so we should hear, I would think, from Daniel Jones, first time since he had the Achilles injury, Anthony Richardson again, Travarius Ward, we heard about him. You know, last time he had a concussion, you said you thought about retirement. Are you thinking about it now after your third concussion? So we'll hear from all the players that are injured and other big players. We'll hear from Shane Steichen. And then normally, if there is no movement, meaning there's no hiring or firings, we'll hear from Chris Ballard later in the next coming week. But that could change if he's no longer here either. So that's what you have to look forward to from a Colts perspective.
All right. This Sunday, we're looking forward to a game against the Texans. And look, if nothing else, you at least want to finish the season with a winning record at 9-8, right?
That is true.
You don't want to go down. I mean, you want to break the losing streak, all those things. You want to ruin things for the Texans. That's always fun as well. We'll start with our Colts predictions. Caleb Zuver, Colts, Texans, your prediction for Sunday's game.
I think Houston scores. I mean, it's tough to say that they're going to score a lot because they haven't this year, but I just think it's a type of game where they will. I'm saying Houston 34, Colts 17.
Ooh, that's a big
That's a big number for
difference
the Texans,
right there.
man.
I'm going to go 24-13 Texans.
I was going to go 26-13. And I think it'll be tough for the Colts to get a lot of offense going. I'd love to see Riley Leonard do that. I think we'd all like to see him do that. But I'm picking, I'm double digits. I like the Texans to win. And when I say I like, I'm talking about for gambling and entertainment purposes. I want the Colts to win. But 26-13 is what I think is likely to happen.
Here's my question, Jeff. How does a team get to 26 points? I'm curious.
You go for
how
two,
you
miss one.
Okay.
I like throwing those odd numbers in every now
I do
and
too.
then.
I'm just curious how you have the Texans doing that this Sunday. I'm always curious of that.
You know, there are times I thought it was weird last night that early in the game that Ole Miss was chasing points with that first 2-point conversion that they tried and failed at. I thought to me, and the reason I said that, they had some momentum going. They had just scored a touchdown. They had just taken the league. Why give that momentum back? I don't understand that early in a game.
I don't get it either, but I guess if you're looking for the math conversion there,
They
Caleb, the Texans would have to score, 2 touchdowns and then have 4 field goals?
It would be otherwise a 20. Yeah, it would be a 27. 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
3 touchdowns, a field goal, and a safety, I believe, would get you 26. So, I mean,
I wasn't thinking the safety. I was thinking a missed 2-point.
I think you should. I mean, anything's possible with Riley Leonard under center. I feel like we don't know what we're in for. So, I'm just saying, I'm trying to cover.
I think I do know, Caleb. I don't think it's going to be looking too good. That is a great defense. You heard Matt Taylor and his Taylor's Tidbits breaking it down, and rookie quarterbacks usually don't fare well in their first start, and against defenses like that.
This is my own personal parlay for this week, right? From just what
this is how you get out of the $20 deficit.
Well,
right
I didn't
here.
put any money on this. This is what I wanted to happen, right? I love that Ohio State got beat. I apologize, but that made me happy, right? I love that Georgia got beat. I absolutely love that Indiana put it on Alabama. So now all I need tonight is for the Pacers to beat the Spurs without Victor Wembanyama, who's not playing.
Betting on the Pacers, y'all. He's betting on the Pacers, y'all.
I need Hinkle Fieldhouse to be rocking with a win for Butler tomorrow. I want Purdue to win at Cal tomorrow night. And then I want the Colts to win on Sunday. And I'll leave Notre Dame for Kevin to worry about.
Yep. Well, I think betting on a safety Sunday, again, with that defense, that might get you out of the $20
You
hole.
brought up the safety. I said nothing about a safety.
But then why would they go for 2?
Huh?
Why would they ever go for 2?
That's what teams do early.
26 points.
Let's go. Score a guy. When they score 26 points, y'all are taking me to lunch at Harry Macy's.
I ain't taking you nowhere because they ain't about to. Man,
You should take us if you bet on the safety, and
I want to know if they want to go for it. What are they going for 2 for?
Oh, man.
Houston offense that
they could
can't
get 2
score
touchdowns and 4 field goals
regularly.
They could get 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals.
That's what I just
right
said.
there.
Yeah, I broke it down.
Yeah.
All right. So there are a lot of ways to get to 26 points. All right. I'm going to let paying season ticket holder have the last word on the text line today. He says if Riley and the Colts are able to beat the Texans, he'll complete passes at 60%. With this conversation, would he be the early weeks starter, waiting for Daniel Jones to get back next year if he plays well?
I do not think that will be the case.
He says he's blind.
I guess, yeah, in theory, if you don't have Anthony Richardson on your roster, if he's ready to move on, the team's ready to move on from him, then maybe. But I don't think you should go into 2026 with any inkling that Riley Leonard could be your starter. No, don't do that.
He says he's a blind Colts fan, and he knows the win will 90% probably not take place. The win, he's speaking into the text, I think. But he likes to dream. I agree with that, too. And he also says, I wanted to say that rooting for all Indiana teams is not rare. We had a caller saying that earlier today. He was born and raised in the state, roots for everybody, Purdue, Butler, Colts, Pacers. But what happens when Purdue and Indiana play? That's my question.
That's what I'm saying. I meant from a college standpoint, not from an Indiana sports fan standpoint. No, I think it's very rare to have people who are Notre Dame fans cheering for IU or IU cheering for Purdue.
There isn't anybody at Purdue that feels good about Indiana winning
that
right
doesn't
now.
happen too often.
That's all you got to do is look at the office over there for Todd Meyer, Mr. Purdue. He probably turned the TV off when it got to 24-0 yesterday.
I don't think he's heard the voice of Don Fisher very often as of late.
All right. Great job again, Caleb, filling in for Mark over these last couple of weeks. Really appreciate all the great stuff you're doing. James, I know you're going. You have to go back over to West 56 later on today. Get ready for this week.
Yes, final practice of the season.
Anybody in particular we're watching to see who they participate in practice today or not?
Making sure Bortolini continues to practice. I think Sauce Gardner's probably a DNP for Sunday, which would make sense given his calf injury. And I do want to get an update on Will Mallory's lung. He's been listed on the injury report.
Yeah, that was weird, right? And when did that
very
pop up?
weird. So that popped up a couple days ago. He's been out the last 2 days with a lung injury. And, yeah, we'll have to get to the bottom of that with Shane Steichen here in a few hours.
All right. Other than that, you expect everybody else to pretty much play on Sunday? No reason not to, right?
We talked to John Taylor and others, and that's one thing I will say. They get paid a lot of money to play football, so if you're healthy, you should play.
And by the way, most players, believe it or not, they only get 17 chances a year. Most players, they want to play on Sunday. They're football players. They want to play.
Breaking news, football players get paid to play football, so they should be out there to
They wake up on Sunday morning and they get the butterflies. They're ready to go. They want to go play football. It's what they do.
There you go.
We forget that sometimes.
I didn't forget. I look at your salaries very often. Get out there and do your jobs.
All right. Once again, congratulations to all the Indiana fans out there.
Yes.
You are 2 games away, 2 wins away from a national championship, and that next one coming up on Friday night against the Oregon Ducks. It's a rematch of that regular season game that I point out again, even though Indiana's only a 3.5-point favorite. They won by 10 at Autzen Stadium. So put that in your back pocket. Have a great day. Jake Query at noon, JMV at 3. Enjoy your Friday.
The Ride with JMV.
And the Colts losing skid now has reached 6 games.
You have exhausted everything. And you've even seen the good. You saw a 2-month run of the good that came to fruition that failed miserably. There's not any Band-Aids or any patches that will do a damn bit of good until you change everything up.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 till 6.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome to Wawa. We're open 24/7, so when the sun goes down but everyone's still up, Wawa has your late night fuel. Headed to a hangout? Stop in for snacks and sodas. Binge your favorite shows with burgers and hoagies. Gather around the table with garlic knots and a cheesy Wawa pizza. Or just chill on the couch with fries and whatever milkshake sounds good. Your night just got a whole lot tastier. Freshly made burgers, pizza, and so much more. When you got a late night craving, you got a Wawa.